what's going on? I am Nando.
Hey everyone, I'm DJ. We're doing a podcast right now where we're going to talk about a cool movie that you've all just seen. And I'm very tired and I'm in a hotel room right now. And also, fuck you.
Ooh, very good.
Hey, mostly nitpicking.
And this is mostly nitpicking. Podcast over week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Ooh, this week.
Sometimes I say a thing here to as an exclamation to make things happy and make the audience feel better.
Mm-hmm. This episode is gonna be tough. All the bits are gonna be. I feel like maybe these are the episodes, they have to be, right? Where a lot of people go like, I haven't checked on them in a while, but I saw that Deadpool movie. This would be like going into that Deadpool movies blind. People probably do that too, you know?
The friend I saw this one with hadn't seen any of the other Deadpool movies.
And I'm thinking like having never seen like any X-Men movie before too, or something like that. And he's just making jokes and you're like, they're probably talking about something there. That's something.
Honestly, don't think that she had seen any of those either.
Wow. Just got to get it together.
My mother-in-law went in blind.
So she had never seen any of the movies like referenced or anything like that?
Correct.
And was she able to understand it with context clues?
No.
Oh, okay.
Much was lost.
See, fortunately, my friend had watched Loki, and that was enough.
Loki is helpful, especially Loki episode 1 or season 1, episode 5.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Or Marvel Snap. That's the other option.
Or Marvel Snap, yeah. And we'll talk about
that's the only other way you could possibly know who Alioth is.
Yeah, I do feel like it's one of those characters with maybe like originally at least like 5 comic appearances, but I think it's popped in since then and it's become somewhat popular. But yeah, it is weird how much Alioth we've gotten in the last couple of years. But speaking of that, guys,
people are clamoring for it. People love Alioth.
People love Alioth so much.
People do love Alioth. He has a big smoke thing. Loki's can use magic to make his brain break or something, or trick him, you know? Interesting.
Where was Loki? Well, I guess we'll get into it.
Well, we'll get into it, yeah. Where were the other Lokis is the real question. But yeah, let's start talking about it. Well, no, wait, we have to do news. Diggins, you had a news you wanted to share. The big Comic-Con news of the week.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, so obviously we all saw the huge Comic-Con news, the thing everyone's been talking about. Just probably the biggest thing that's ever happened at Comic-Con. That's right. I'm talking about the 14 people arrested in a Comic-Con human trafficking sting.
What?
Oh, God. What?
Yeah. You guys know about this, right?
Well, it was the biggest news, so I obviously do. And I'm not caught off by this bit.
I missed that. No, I was busy with, like, I don't know, Spider-Man or something. I missed the human trafficking. Did they announce it at Comic-Con? It's just like...
Did they announce it at Comic-Con?
Like, guys, we got him.
They went up and up in Hall H, where they were having their human traffickers panel. And like Kevin Feige walked up on stage and was like, all right, guys, we're getting ready to start. 1, 2, 3. And then the FBI burst in because Kevin Feige was participating in a sting operation.
Not a sting, a trap. They set a trap for the human traffickers.
Oh my God.
Everybody at Comic-Con is part of the trap. All right, let's see what this is. I've not read this. Apparently, but why were the... Like, I mean, it's definitely bad to human traffic. Were they...
Good take, Nando. It's a good take.
Were they taking...
The official... Mostly nitpicking stance, human trafficking, bad.
Were they taking the trafficked humans to Comic-Con as like part of?
Yeah, so the idea is that they brought them there so that the horny nerds at Comic-Con, they'd be like, hey, do you want to... I don't really want to talk about this so flippantly, to be honest.
Well,
yeah, I was going to say, this is a little dangerous territory, maybe?
Well... It's interesting though. But they did get them. They got the guys.
They got it. Well, they got 14 of them. I don't know if that's all of them.
Cool. It's good.
It's a good number, in my opinion.
So this is the first thing I saw when I Googled Comic-Con news. And yeah, here we are.
It's not great for Comic-Con, I guess. But also, it would be worse if they got away. You know,
it'd be worse if it was 14 human traffickers not arrested at Comic-Con.
It's the second worst news it could possibly be. But other news at Comic-Con was they're getting all kinds of shows and stuff and lots of movies and things that probably won't get made. It's really exciting, you guys.
Yeah, most of them probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
Most of them announced in a way where it's obvious they haven't even started working on them.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Feige's just like, the other day, I was talking to, I don't know any comic writers. From Nando.
Rob Liefeld, classic guy from Deadpool.
Is he still working?
Yeah.
Didn't we all decide he's bad at it?
I mean, like, he's bad at, like, he's not, like, the greatest comic writer or, like, artist or anything ever. But, like, he's, like, he can do what he does kind of well. Like, you know, he's got a style. Yeah, it's, like, and it was very, I think we've kind of not, like, rediscovered it and, like, in a nostalgic way, but I do think we've kind of, it feels strangely genuine. And it's like, cool. That's fun. Because wasn't he the one, did he make the big old Captain America with the big old boobies?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen people come around on that. At least 2 videos that have explained that it was going for this and kind of this perspective was wrong. But, like, it's not Rob Liefeld's fault. And, like, so stuff like that, you know. We become slightly less harsh. And I do think he wrote a couple of Deadpool adjacent books recently for Marvel. I want to say he wrote, like, God, I don't know. He keeps leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back. I think.
All right, well, Kevin Feige was like, I was talking to Rob Liefeld the other day, and we said it would be cool if there's a Squirrel Girl show, and that's the announcement.
Shoot. That'd be
Are
pretty
you excited
cool.
for the Squirrel Girl show?
I mean, it would have to exist for me to be excited about it.
All right, well, are you excited about a theoretical Squirrel Girl show? Does that excite you?
I mean, it would depend. I think Squirrel Girl's had some good runs, so in theory.
Yeah. Who would you cast as Squirrel Girl, Diggins? And keep in mind, I don't know. They're probably from shows that we don't watch, you know? Probably going to be one of the Descendants or something. So, you know, I don't know any of their names.
Oh, man.
What about an adult Squirrel Girl if it's like all grown up, you know? Would you cast for that?
Elizabeth Banks.
Okay.
I think she should be a good, funny Squirrel Girl.
I don't think I don't love it, but I don't like hate it.
Come on now.
I'm pretty lukewarm on it. I feel like we got funnier. Like, I feel like Squirrel Girl's got a more, well, I guess it depends, right? Are we doing like the girls version of Squirrel Girl where she's like she's a millennial who can't find herself and is kind of a burnout? Or are we doing like the kind of Paddington, but an adult, like where because Squirrel Girl's usually pretty chipper and like positive and stuff. Is she that? Is she like a good natured? Because who's are that now? Do we have one of those in pop culture?
Sydney Sweeney, obviously.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like I really don't know who. I mean, like, yeah, I would say I'm thinking older than Sydney Sweeney too. I'm trying to think of somebody in like their 40s, like Amy Poehler or something like that. And
that's
like
not a bad one.
Someone a little bit older, but I want a comedian. Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna be what's her name? It was gonna be Melania Vaintrub, what was it, AT&T girl or whatever.
Oh yeah, she was in Werewolves Within.
That's right. Yeah, she filmed a pilot. Yes, Squirrel Girl. There's 1 or 2 pictures of it online. Apparently, it was fine, but they didn't end up doing it. Keith David would have been MODOK. And then what a timeline that would have been, because then we wouldn't have had the one we just had a year ago. It's been a year.
2 years ago?
I mean, February of last year, right? Something like that.
Was it? Was it that soon?
Yeah. I know. We didn't even have anything to celebrate the anniversary. You know, like a somber, you know, some sort of remembrance for the Ant-Man movie that destroyed everyone's confidence in the MCU.
The last appearance of Kang ever.
Well, I mean, if you don't count all the stuff from Loki season 2, and
right,
yeah, but
the last chronological appearance of Kang ever,
perhaps, and the last appearance of Kang as opposed to Kang as one of his goofy variants with like a silly accent or whatever. You guys remember that? He had all those accents.
Yeah,
it was great stuff.
Yeah,
everyone loved it.
Whatever happened to Jonathan Majors? Does anybody know?
You know
what
what?
happened?
He's on his way back, according to him. He's happy.
I bet.
He had an interview recently, speaking of the news that we're actually going to talk about, because our Robert Downey Jr. basically took over as him, but not as Kang, even though that would be hilarious, but as a different character, Dr. Doom, who has Kang-ish qualities, I guess. I mean, this Kang's written pretty broadly anyway, so it could kind of work. But they asked Jonathan Majors, they were like, are you upset about that? What do you think? Because also they changed the name of Avengers 5 from Kang Dynasty to Doomsday. And Jonathan Majors basically said, I'm excited for Robert Downey Jr. I love him. If the people ever want Kang back, I'm happy to get back in the saddle and do some Kang stuff again.
Put me back in the soup, baby.
Yeah, that's so, you know.
Oh my gosh.
He's still open to it, and apparently he's the holdout. I didn't know.
Yeah, that was the only obstacle as far as I understood.
But yeah, so instead it's Robert Downey Jr. As Doom, Victor Von Doom, you guys.
So now hold on. Is he actually going to be Victor Von Doom, or is he going to be a Tony Stark variant?
We don't know. We have no idea. I mean, I feel like he's kind of got to be a Tony Stark variant, right? Like,
I mean, there's no way it's not like a thing, right? They're not just going to have Robert Downey Jr. show up and nobody's like, he looks like Iron Man.
Right. And they even said, I think, because I was also, part of me was like, well, if they don't show his face and they just do voice stuff, you can kind of get away with it if he has a silly, Eastern European accent or whatever. But I think I saw in an interview that he is going to show face a lot. So they're going to have.
He's going to show face.
He's going to show face. Yeah, he's going to show all kinds of stuff. But yeah, after the success of R-rated Deadpool, and
sorry,
I don't know what they're thinking though, because it's like, A, Dr. Doom usually doesn't take his helmet off. That's like a big deal. But B, like...
Yeah, it's kind of like a huge thing with him. It's kind of like a whole huge part of the character.
But it's unclear if he's going to be from the Fantastic Four universe, which is its own universe. But that would make the most sense, since they're going to be in these movies as well. Is they go to MCU and he just follows them or something. Maybe they're following him. Who knows? But he looks great.
I mean, you can't do Doctor Doom without having Reed Richards in there, because that's like what makes Doctor Doom a great villain, as a thing I said on Twitter states, is that he's Marvel's #1 hater. Mm-hmm. Nobody hates like Doom.
He's quite a good hater.
He hates Reed Richards more than you and I could even imagine hating anything in this whole world.
He's our Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Kendrick Lamar of Marvel villains. That's right.
Yeah.
He takes hating to an art form.
Now I'm thinking about it. Is he the biggest hater? He might be. He's up there. He's got to be, right? Sabretooth is a pretty big hater. Like, I'm trying to think in terms of people who are just like, I really want to ruin your life because I hate you. And that's my whole motivation. Dr. Doom, Sabretooth. They should make a club. Who else could
the
be
Haters Club?
Yeah, Norman Osborn, maybe.
They should start some kind of hate group.
Yeah, right? They could get that hate monger character. He probably wouldn't even be in the top 20 haters in the MCU or Marvel Comics. That's how much hating there is going on. But yeah, they see, I mean, he hates Dr. Doom or Mr. Fantastic, but like, I guess, do we for this movie to work, can he just show up and be like, I hate Mr. Fantastic, you guys? And then we're like, why? And he's like, because he got me all burnt or something, and then expelled from college. And you're like, wow, I get it, buddy.
I really don't. Honestly, like, if we're transitioning how we feel about this, I don't know. I'm not saying it definitely can't work or like definitely won't be good, but it is such like a weird move to me where I don't know that. It feels like it's putting me at a deficit of positive expectations to start off with, just because it's a very weird specific thing that I have mixed feelings at best about.
Yeah, what about you, DJ?
I think I'm going to come in with a very controversial take. I love
pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, pineapple on pizza. I love it. I love it so much. I think it's so stupid, but like in a way that's like it's so like nakedly what the word I'm looking for is, it's not a cash grab, but right, it is like Marvel trying to like save face so hard. It's like, oh my god, we made such a misstep by getting this Jonathan Majors fella, because he did all those crimes that we could have possibly known about, but it's still, from our perspective, looks like we stepped in it. So who could we get? Who's everyone love? Oh my god, Robert Downey Jr. Him, and he's Doom. You fucking nerds love Doctor Doom. So that's it. It's Doom, and it's Robert Downey Jr., and it's like a Mad Libs of like Marvel trying to just like figure out how to salvage this, and I love it. It's so, you know what it is, guys?
What is it?
It's delicious.
So you're saying they should have cast Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Doctor Doom?
She could be a good older squirrel girl. I could see it.
That's a good one too. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
The thing about me and Doctor Doom is my X-Men. He's the Marvel character I care a lot about.
Okay.
So, like, right away, the fact that it's Robert Downey Jr., I'm like, well, he's not going to wear the mask most of the time. And that's already a huge strike.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if... Because in Secret Wars, I don't believe he wears the mask all the time. I mean, in the first Secret Wars, he specifically...
His face gets fixed in that one.
He fixes his face in the first one, and then the second one when he's got, I think he still wears it for a lot, but I think he takes it off every so often because he's like so cool. And but beyond that, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of wondering, like, because it doesn't seem like he's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie, or at least that was never part of the plan. It seems like it's going to be Fantastic Four, Galactus, a couple of other kind of kooky, 60s villains. Is he just going to show up at the end and be like, hey, it's me, Dr. Doom. I'd shoot Galactus in the head with a big gun and then bounce, You
mean the ultimate nullifier?
I guess, yeah. Or like the magic gun from Invincible or something. But yeah, something like that. That he could just use to like blow a hole in Galactus's head. Because like, I feel like, I don't know. If he's going to do a Secret Wars... He has to want something, right? Like, what would he want?
To be the true god or something? I don't know.
It's hard to know that about a character who hasn't existed in this cinematic universe yet.
Yeah. I mean, Nando, like, you're the big, like, I don't know, our big comic boy, and you like Fantastic Four. Are you excited about this, or are you just very upset that it is?
No, I would say I'm pretty lukewarm on it. Not lukewarm. I would say I'm pretty ambivalent. Like, I can go either way. I like the thing that honestly keeps me the most hype about it is I saw the going around. I'm sure you could still find it. The leaked trailer for Fantastic Four, and it looks amazing. So part of me is like, if he's from this universe and they manage to work him into the story even just a little bit, I'll be like, maybe that's fun. Like, I guess my question, the thing that I'm wondering is, are they going to do something like, does this, if he is from a different universe, does this mean we're not getting a 616 to him? But it's like, if we have a 616, like, we don't have a 616 Fantastic Four, it seems like, right? Like, they're the ones from this other universe.
Nando, they've been around since the 60s.
Right. And then, like, where are, like, so then if they haven't existed in the MCU, then we don't need a Doom. Like, there's no point. So I don't understand. I guess this does. Originally, I was like, well, I guess they left the door open so they can do like a Doom now and then a Doom later. That's like the real Doom. But now it's like, why even bother if you don't have a real Fantastic Four? And they're not going to just invent one. They're going to smush all the universes together. But yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, wait. Did you mean that there's no Fantastic Four in 199999?
No, because they said 616 at one of the... When did they say it? In this, I think, right?
They said it in Doctor Strange.
I said it, and I think this one had it, too. I think when a certain Deadpool was at a certain location early in the movie, it says he's from the 616 universe.
Oh, yeah, I think that's... I mean, that's wrong, but they do say it.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a Sony movie, so you're supposed to take everything that happens in it as canon. As opposed to those Sony ones where you're supposed to wait until they say all the things in the Avengers movie, so that counts. Anything you guys were missing at Comic-Con, like the Blade movie, for instance? Think we're ever going to see that?
No. And, maybe we'll talk about that in this movie.
Yeah, I got some thoughts.
I feel like they do have a conference coming up. That's the one thing about Disney. I think they like. It's weird that not weird that they did Comic-Con, because of course they are. But right, D23 is like in August, right, or something.
Yeah.
So like that, apparently they may be saving certain announcements for that.
Like that Blade is canceled.
But
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like,
canceled.
I like Blade is such a weird thing for that, because I know like they famously have done like their big flagship movies at D23, but they did Brave New World at Comic-Con. So like, what, you're gonna do Blade at D23? Like, I don't know. I don't know what that like leaves up. Like usually they try and split where they'll do like a Marvel thing at Comic-Con and then like a Star Wars thing at D23 or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like they try and split the franchises.
Well, yeah, but there's no Star Wars anymore.
I know.
So,
So then I guess you have to have double Marvel, or we're getting a big Muppets announcement, I guess. But like, you know,
God.
Oh, if
Yeah.
only.
It does seem like there are things that we know are getting announced at D23 that they didn't mention at Comic-Con, like the Daredevil show. I think we're going to see some footage of that at D23. I think the Wonder Man show seems like they probably have enough of it to do something at D23, and they haven't even like officially announced that one yet in like the big kind of event stadium kind of thing.
Do you think they have enough to officially announce its cancellation now?
No, because they filmed it. They filmed it and they have all the guys, and it's pretty cool. Wonder Man might be fun. Maybe he'll make fun of superhero movies. Have you ever thought about that? Wouldn't that be something?
That's crazy. How could something do that?
I don't know, but maybe they could do it, and hopefully it'll be pretty cool and fresh, and no one will get mad because he's not white. I don't know. That one's gonna be tough. I feel like we're in for a lot of weird stuff, but I think that one could be cool. I don't know. I like Yaya. Do you guys want to talk about Deadpool?
I would love to.
And Wolverine?
And Wolverine. That's right. Ampersand Wolverine, I believe. Okay, we'll just talk about Deadpool. We'll just talk about it. Yeah. Like could you read this movie as a movie where Deadpool just is hallucinating a Wolverine the whole time? And then like go back and it's like,
I'm about it.
Yeah.
I think it would mostly work. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's our theory. That's us on TikTok, everybody. We're a podcast coming up with some bullshit theory. We're like all those guys that everyone hates on TikTok.
Wait, hold on. Did you know?
Yo, what?
Wolverine actually isn't real in Deadpool and Wolverine.
What? Get out. Tell me more.
Deadpool's hallucinating him the whole time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you see, like in the first scene where he first meets up with this Wolverine, the bartender says, "You're not welcome here." But actually, if you look at the rotational angle of the Earth while he's saying it, he's looking off in another direction at another customer.
Yeah.
Really, even though it looks like he's looking at Logan. So actually, Logan's not actually there, and Deadpool is hallucinating the whole thing, which continues for the rest of the movie.
That's the TikTok sound. You know that sound that comes at the end of every TikTok video way too loud when it gets reposted to Twitter, which is where I see them all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That is what there's like a billion of those, but our cameras aren't like, we're not like looking cool on camera at each other and stuff. And
No,
also
I've
DJ's
never looked cool in my life.
DJ Sky isn't, you guys don't have enough toys behind you, really, is the problem. I have enough toys to
I know.
conceivably be a TikToker, but Diggins is I mean,
they're here.
yeah,
You just can't really see them.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. And then
The angle's all wrong, Diggins. This is the problem.
that's a shame.
And I've got my big Baron Harkonnen
That's
up on
right.
top of the bookcase there.
The kids love that.
You
And
nerd.
You know what? That was a good
That was a
movie.
gift from Nando.
That was a gift from me.
Oh,
I got it at a Target, and I was like, "This seems expensive," but you know what? It doesn't even have a price tag. I'll ask the guy how much it is, and I asked the guy, and he was like, "You know what? We're not even supposed to sell that anymore. It's a year after or something." And I got it for like $8. It's pretty good. I was really happy with that.
That's how much our friendship is worth.
That's how much I'm willing to spend on an action figure of big old what's his name, big old Stellan Skarsgård. He should have been in this, just running around. He's in these movies, right? He plays
Stellan Skarsgård?
Thor's friend, kind of. He could have been, he could have just been in here somewhere.
Does he play one of the Warriors 3?
No, he's Thor's friend, like the scientist guy, who's like,
Oh, right.
There's a
He's
vengeance.
Eric, whatever.
yeah, Eric Selvig. So spoiler alert for people based on, we're trying not to spoil it. He's not in this one. But
Damn.
yeah, but
Sorry, all you Selvig heads out there.
And he's been pretty good, like pretty represented in this stuff. He shows up from time to time. He hasn't broken through quite like Darcy for some reason, but he's doing okay.
For some reason, I can imagine.
I mean, like, but like you know, like she's in like the Scarlet Witch comics now as like Scarlet Witch's friendly assistant. It's really weird how much they have taken Darcy from being Thor's friend, like Jane Foster's intern, to being in the WandaVision show, to in the comics she now works as at the storefront of that like Wanda manages. It's very strange. Not like strange, it's not bad. It's just like you go like, why is they? And it's like, oh yeah, because of a bunch of weird Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff.
DJ, were you considering any particular features or assets of the character when you said that you could guess why?
Pass?
Because you think Kat Dennings is a funny and charismatic performer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I loved her in Two Broke Girls.
She's from Two Broke Girls. I mean, she's in other stuff that's good, right? Like 40-Year-Old Virgin is pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's in.
She anything else? Probably not. I don't know. We'll never know. But because, and she's not in this either. Another spoiler. Sorry, guys. Very light on Thor characters, although a non-zero amount of Thor characters appear in this, so we'll get to it. Do you, Diggins, are you in charge of the thing? Or is it DJ? I can't remember.
I think it's Diggins.
It's me.
It's not me, that's for sure.
I was so good at the Greatest Showman stuff. I guessed that Snake Charmer was one of them, and I was right.
Yeah, that's right. Even though mine were all things that were there, but weren't technically freaks. Sure.
Yep.
The movie.
So here at Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast that we do that you're listening to right now, and I'm talking about the fact that this is a podcast. Isn't that crazy?
God.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God, so many hats.
But we do a little game called the IMDb, B as in spelling bee, where my two esteemed co-hosts have to try to guess what the IMDb summary for this movie is. Now, you might be asking yourselves, where does IMDb get those movie summaries? Well, I will tell you. They buy one gross of eggs every week.
How much is that?
That's 12 times 12.
Oh, okay.
144.
Or like gross eggs. Ew.
Eggs are kind of gross, yeah.
The other option.
I get that.
No, I was referring to the actual numerical concept of one gross, DJ. I explained it pretty clearly right there.
Sorry.
I don't know why you're confused.
Okay, my bad.
They are pretty gross, though.
So they take those 144 eggs and they toss them out of the largest window on imdb.com headquarters and let them splatter against the sidewalk. Then they look down at it with a telescope, and the vague suggestion of shapes that the random pattern of egg splatters makes is interpreted into letters, which then become translated into like one long run-on sentence that they chop up and assign as summaries for all the movies that came out that week. So I have the random pattern of eggs for Deadpool and Wolverine right in front of me. And it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not wrong.
Interesting.
Okay.
Now, I do remember a bunch of summaries for this movie coming out as they were getting closer to actually revealing anything about the movie, and a bunch of them were just fake bullshit. This is not one of those, correct? Like this isn't
a fake one. I do have a fake one if we need a tiebreaker, but this is a real one.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the details of any of those, but I do remember this seeing them for once, like, and being like, oh no, this is gonna fuck up the whole game. But yeah, as the loser, I would like DJ to go first because I have a guess, but I want him to go first so he doesn't steal it.
So yeah, what I can't decide is this a meta, Yeah.
Yeah, does it start with, hey, it's me, Deadpool from the comics?
Right?
Yeah.
That would be so
my dick.
irreverent and wacky.
Yeah.
But like, I actually can't decide if that's the direction. Good golly gosh. And I'm like, is that what I want to go for? Or is that silly?
Is it the right kind of silly? Because
right.
My idea, I'll say this. It's not that subversive. It's just a couple of details that I kind of remember from one of the summaries that at the time we were all using to try to figure out what the fuck this movie was going to be that I think you won't add. So.
Okay. Well, Diggins, while I filibuster, can you remind me what you said? You said it's fine.
Yeah, it's not like super detailed, but it's pretty much accurate. I wouldn't say anything about it is wrong.
Okay. So real quick. I need to go on one of my famous DJ tangents because, aren't those always so fun?
DJ tangent.
So when I was recording Rose and Rejections with Michelle, I had I was plugging the podcast and I'm like, yeah, the awesome show, mostly nitpicking that I do with my co-host Diggins. And Michelle was like, you just didn't mention Nando. Wow. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Good.
It's don't know why.
Well, because the idea that there would be anyone who finds this podcast without knowing who Nando is inconceivable.
I mean, that is laughable.
It's possible. I do think it could also be just that, because I keep losing the IMDb as in spelling bee, you've stopped thinking of me as a person. I've lost some sort of, respect in your eyes that I'll never be able to get back.
Maybe that who's to say. All right, well, enough stalling. I'm just gonna do a summary. Okay. Deadpool must fight against the Time Variance Authority to find the hero Wolverine and save his reality from being wiped out from existence.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to take a shot at this. I do think there's a chance this is a mistake because it's not subversive. All right, here, I'm just going to do it. 5 years after retiring from being Deadpool, Wade Wilson, a used car salesman, is thrown into one last adventure to save the multiverse.
We both did that bad, huh? Another one of these.
I really hate to do this.
Oh no, is it the game?
I feel
a
big weight in my heart of sadness descending upon me. Just total darkness, blackness, a depression. Just consuming my life.
When it goes on for this long, I can't figure out which thing he's going to actually do.
Me neither. Is it it's a tiebreaker or is it he going to shove Nando in a locker? I can't figure out where this is going.
Honor compels me to be honest. And honesty demands that I say out loud that DJ blew Nando out of the water.
Damn it. Mine was the summary at one point. There was a summary that was this kicking around, which framed him as a retired used car salesman. And I'm like, if that's the one they used, then we're good.
I'm sure that was there at some point, but that's not what this one is. This one was more accurate than that.
Damn.
The actual summary is Deadpool is offered a place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the Time Variance Authority, but instead recruits a variant of Wolverine to save his universe from extinction.
Wow.
So DJ, you got the general Deadpool, Time Variance Authority, recruits Wolverine, save his universe.
Interesting.
Look at me go.
Nando, you got the word Deadpool.
Yeah.
How bad's the drought? I feel like it's pretty bad for Nando.
I mean, here, I think I found it actually. Well, no, that doesn't right. I'm going to try to find the real summary that I was looking for. But yeah, there used to be one where it was a listless Wade Wilson toils away in civilian life with his days as a morally flexible mercenary Deadpool behind him. It's stuff like that, because they were really being silly with it.
We love when they're silly.
But yeah, man. I just can't catch a break. I would probably have done okay in a tiebreaker for this week too. You know.
Oh yeah, I think you would have crushed me.
Although I wonder if Diggins even had one.
I have, like I said,
Diggins?
I have one of the wrong summaries, and it's not that one.
Oh, okay.
Here for me, if you just for fun, if you guys want to take a crack at a bad fake summary, this one is very wrong.
Okay. Deadpool and Wolverine must fight against the forces of evil to hold back the destruction of all timelines throughout eternity.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to think of something they would do like without being super like copyright infringy, but I would just say like something. It's something.
Here, let me say this. They're not trying to be funny. They're just wrong.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know. Deadpool and Wolverine go on a fun little adventure through the multiverse to become friends and meet a bunch of fun cameos or something. Is it something like that?
You guys were both too accurate.
Wow. I was trying to be wrong.
The actual thing is Wolverine is recovering from his injuries when he crosses paths with the loudmouth Deadpool. They team up to defeat a common enemy.
The fuck?
So you guys mentioned multiverse. It's too accurate.
That's so weird.
Interesting.
And also wrong. Like, just to put a finer point on that.
And this was one this wasn't like months ago or anything. This was right before the movie came out. I think it was even still up when the movie came out.
Nice.
That's so weird.
Yeah, there were a bunch of so I found the one, the specific one that I was thinking about. This is the one that was floating around maybe 7 months ago. It was, after facing some professional setbacks while going through a midlife crisis, Wade Wilson decides to officially retire Deadpool and become a used car salesman. When his friends, family, and the whole world are at stake, Deadpool decides to bring his katanas out of retirement. He recruits an unwilling and wary Wolverine to not only fight for their survival, but ultimately their legacy. So, yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I kind of remember, which I think was a good summary because I wasn't even, I know they had to talk about Wolverine, but I thought even saying TVA in it would be too giving away more than they'd want to give away in this.
Yeah, right.
But
well, these aren't made by Disney. Like I said, they're the eggs.
Yeah,
that fall out of the building.
That's true. Disney could make a machine though to direct wind. They got a lot of money.
Disney has the power.
A series of fans that they could use to kind of curve it in the right direction. They should work on that.
Oh yeah,
they should. It would really help.
Yeah. So anyway, DJ, because you won, what did you think of this movie?
Oh yeah, that's a thing I get to do. Okay. So there's a lot of I don't want to make a straw man argument for what some folks out there on the interwebs may or may not be saying about Deadpool or Wolverine. But let me just say this. I am not here to have my joy policed. I am here to have a good time and laugh my ass off and just enjoy myself at the theaters. And Deadpool and Wolverine for me was the ultimate accomplishment of that. I had such a fun time with this movie. Everyone in my theater had such a fun time with this movie. I had a thing where I wore, Michelle had a Deadpool mask, I wore the Deadpool mask. And I was just kind of walking in, strutting, and everyone's oh my God, it's so fun.
And sexually harass some women.
And obviously, and, just everyone was in the movie was just having a good time. The vibes were so good. And I've heard the critiques about there's no plot and it's nostalgia bait and blah, 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 blah. This movie fucks. It fucks hard. It's fun. It's funny. It's entertaining. I enjoyed it the whole time. It's a 10 out of 10. It's my movie of the year. And I'm not here for anyone policing my joy. So, Diggins, I'm sure you're going to come in with your highfalutin champagne glass and be actually, the lighting was kind of off in the third act. And you know what? I don't care. I loved all the actors. I loved all the cameos. There was no part of this movie that I didn't like. I liked every single part of it. So this is like my favorite movie of the year, and I loved it so much. And anyone who's here to tell me I'm wrong can go kick some hard rocks and pound sand with those rocks.
All right.
That's what I think of this movie.
Calm down there, P.T. Barnum. I haven't said anything.
Well, we'll have to wait on you because now we get to hear what Nando thinks of the movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I think it's hard to say. It might be. I don't know if it's my favorite Deadpool movie at all. But I don't even know which one is my favorite Deadpool movie because sometimes I think it's 2, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't really like 2 that much. I don't know. I think this movie is pretty good. I think it. I would say kind of on what DJ's like point, but like a little bit maybe more specific is like I would agree with people who say Deadpool's like, you know, it's the characterization is pretty thin. I do think when it comes to cameos, it's more than just kind of what I've heard people describe it as, which is just like, hey, look at that guy. Although I do think like some of that is fun.
I agree,
but I think they managed to put enough substance in it that I think it's worth it. And like it doesn't feel as exploitative. But I do think the biggest thing is that like almost all Marvel movies, it's got to be all of them, right? Yeah, pretty much are action comedies. Maybe with the, you know, there's probably 1 or 2 that aren't, but like that's what most of them are. Whereas this is a comedy action, I do feel like because this movie is a comedy first, it gets judged as a comedy more than something like Guardians of the Galaxy or even like Ant-Man 3, which is clearly also trying to be about as funny as Deadpool. But because like the story of Ant-Man 3 doesn't work.
Is an operative word there.
Yeah, and like because of the story problems, you can't enjoy much of it. But I think because Deadpool is just doing the comedy stuff up front, the real only test I could give this movie is like, did I laugh at it? Did I find it funny? And I do think it was funny. I think the parts of it that were funny were very funny. I also think it did that thing where like it's funny and it's also, you can't make this movie without using hundreds of millions of dollars of Fox's and Marvel's money and stuff and like getting characters they would never have the rights to. So like I feel like I enjoy it for that reason. The same way I like The Boys burning all of Amazon's money to do weird stuff, even though it's not like important or good. The Boys is sometimes good, but not always. So yeah, I think it's good. I think Wolverine is great. I think it's probably the best he's been at being Wolverine. I think Logan's still the best performance as that character, but I don't think that's like a Wolverine. That's very much a take on Wolverine, whereas this one feels pretty close to just like do Wolverine. And I think the costumes are great. I think it looked okay. Some of the fight scenes look better than others. And yeah, I think all the weird deep cut cameos worked really well for me. But like looking back, I do think there's enough there. I guess maybe not everybody, like DJ's, whoever that was, mother-in-law or something.
Mother-in-law.
Yeah, where they can't grab onto it. But I do think even if you don't know what the deal is with a certain guy, after Deadpool says a couple things to it, and kind of go, oh, I see what this probably is. And that's usually enough for, like, I feel like they do enough of that I imagine people can enjoy it without being me specifically. But like certain songs, certain cameos, references, it's like this is made for someone born the year I was born who like watched all these movies as a kid and listened to all that music as a kid. So like, yeah, I really liked it. Diggins, what about you? It was
nice to feel seen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Diggins.
Yeah, finally a movie for us, you know. Finally.
18 to 40-year-old white men,
that's
the
right.
least listened to demographic in entertainment. I saw this movie also. I watched it with my eyeballs and took in the information, processed it in my brain, and then reacted to it accordingly. Much of that reaction was laughter. There were jokes in this movie that I thought were funny. And I laughed at them.
There you go.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is that a review? Is that what you thought?
But
oh my god.
I think in a lot of ways this is not any better than the Phase 4 and 5 movies they were making fun of. on a story level.
Oh my god!
But was it trying to be?
Yes.
Also,
They clearly set up arcs for Deadpool and Wolverine that I don't think were executed very well. Deadpool's was the whole, like, you've got to stop. Don't try to be in the MCU, Deadpool. Find your thing and the things you care about and go for them, which he does immediately and never has a question or worry about that ever again for the rest of the movie. So that's not an arc at all. And Wolverine's, I think my big problem with Wolverine's arc, and we'll have to talk about this when we're talking about the movie, is that it feels very clear to me that they didn't decide what it was until very late in the process. So, like, when you think about the earlier scenes with late information we get later, you're like, that doesn't actually make any sense that happened that way. Which, again, I will be more specific about when we're talking about the movie. So I just think a lot of the story stuff just isn't very good and doesn't work. Now, I take your point, Nando, and I think I agree that because it's like a sillier, more comedic movie than those movies are, that the fact that it is funny makes that a lot more forgivable. I think that's true. I do like this more than those movies, than like your Quantumanias, etc. I think this is a better movie than that. But yeah, I think it still has tons of story problems. And also, I think it really suffers from being directed by a Ryan Reynolds yes man. Because the direction is competent. It's not bad, but it's also not particularly inspired, which I think makes a lot of the action scenes kind of, again, not bad per se, but they don't feel as dynamic and fun as they're supposed to. Especially there's the big one at the end that's supposed to be like the big fancy shot. That's just like a worse version of the exact thing other Marvel movies have done. So it's like, I think it suffers a lot because, if you're making the Atom Project, who cares if the camera work is like uninspired? But like, this is an action movie is supposed to have very dynamic, fluid direction to help emphasize the action. And the fact that it doesn't, I think, is a problem.
Speaking of Yes Men, do you know who directed the movie Yes Men?
Was it Sean Levy?
No, it was Peyton Reed, director of Ant-Man, Quantumania. I just thought that was funny.
What a weird jump that was.
Pardon me? Well, because when you said it, I was like, holy shit, did he? And one of these guys did Yes Man. I had to look it up and it wasn't. But it was.
Someone must have done Yes Man.
One of these fucking Marvel guys did Yes Man, and it's the other one. But, yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, that's why Deadpool and Wolverine's a bad movie that nobody should like.
Wow.
And
wow.
DJ's joy is fake and not allowed. Illegal. He should be put in jail for enjoying this movie. That's what I think.
You think DJ should be put in jail, and you think that any other people that enjoyed it should be put in jail. Yeah, to put in jail, at least not allowed to like vote or something. And
they're
also,
felons.
Also, DJ's not a podcaster, and he only claims that he was starting about 2 years ago, but he was never a podcaster.
That's true.
All fake.
Now,
all fake.
We got to talk about Deadpool Wolverine, you guys. I don't know what you guys think of this movie, but like, do I just go right into spoilers?
Well, somebody,
yeah,
namely Mr. Nando,
damn it,
needs to tell us what happened in this movie.
I forgot. Okay.
Did you forget though, or was it some other thing that happened?
Well, no, because I was like, in my head I had a list of things that was like Wheels up next. What's the thing before that? I don't know. Just like we talk about the movie, and I forgot that it's all right. Here we go. Summary of the movie. Now this is going to spoil everything, so get ready, you kids. It starts with Deadpool going through the corpse from Logan. He's digging up Logan's grave. You guys. He finds a bunch of bones. Wolverine.
And you're like, wait, didn't that movie take place in the future?
Yeah.
And the answer is, don't worry about it.
The answer is like, yeah, the reason he's there makes sense. Like how he got there is fine, but then
He has a time travel device. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, but like, why do they pull him out at this period of time if
Right.
this is the future? If like Logan dying is what causes the universe to start dying, why did they pull a Deadpool from the past?
Yeah.
Also in
Shut
in
up.
the Logan future, every other mutant is dead, right? So theoretically, Deadpool's not even around.
Shut up.
Yeah. But anyway, so he goes to Logan and he starts digging up bones, and he's like, I'm digging up Wolverine's bones, you guys. And he finds Wolverine's corpse, but it's just bones. There's a little bit of skin still and stuff, but he's like fully dead. And Deadpool's like, damn it, I was hoping there'd be a guy I could use here for stuff. I don't know, is this when they do the does the fight start here, or do we flash back and then start it later?
No, we do the fight because we have the whole in sync credit sequence.
I couldn't remember if that was split up, but yeah, so there's a big fight using the bones as weapons because they are still covered in adamantium. Deadpool kills a bunch of TVA agents and like fully kills, does it in fun Wolverine ways too, like uses some of the claws and stuff, and dances a lot to NSYNC. He then just, they're like, boy, you can't believe how I got here, huh? Then we see a flashback to, this is set in the 616 universe, Deadpool going to Happy Hogan, asking him to join.
Sorry, you mean the 199999 universe?
Well, according to the screen, the 616 universe, but it makes even less sense. So he's going to the 616 universe that he does not live in, right? Like, this is not the universe Deadpool is from, to join the Avengers, and he gets rejected by Happy Hogan, who knows who he is, or at least knows that he's not a superhero like he's describing. But what information is Happy Hogan using to make that decision? Does Happy Hogan just take meetings for recruitment of the Avengers? Like, is it his job to filter through these guys? And also, yeah, if Deadpool doesn't exist in this universe, why was he trying to do this at all? I don't know. It's weird. Because, yeah, then he goes back to his own universe. We find out later because he fails, basically. And Happy Hogan's like, you don't save universes. You're like kind of a little guy, like a street level-y kind of scrub. You're not, Avengers material. Which, that sounds like something they would say in a movie like this. He goes to... Even
though Spider-Man was in the Avengers movies.
Yeah, I do think he kind of got... some characters seem to get grandfathered into the Avengers by like being there when Cap said Avengers Assemble. Like, I don't think they would have taken Korg either, but I do think technically if you were there for that, you're an Avenger. Although I guess Spider-Man was recruited as a child, but also under duress from Tony. I feel like maybe Happy's like, we gotta start writing this ship so it's not just children and like weirdos. We gotta like start picking guys. Now, a guy who has the power to regenerate and stuff and seems to know stuff from other universes does feel like he would be quite valuable. But whatever, I don't know. So 5 years pass, 6 years, something like that. Deadpool is working with Peter from the last movie, Pete Wisdom, I think, which is like weird.
I think it's a less comic book name than that. It's just like a guy's name.
I thought that too, but then I've seen somewhere him credited as Pete Wisdom, which is an X-Men character who is not this guy, but whatever. Their used car dealership. Deadpool is not Deadpool anymore, although Peter has the Deadpool costume in his locker just in case. But Deadpool's moved on, he's a sad little guy in midlife crisis and stuff. And he like rides a little bike or scooter to work or something. He lives on a back lot of a Hollywood set. But he has a birthday party with all the side characters from Deadpool 1 and 2, except for the ones that weren't in this. Mostly, he has a birthday party with most of the side characters from Deadpool 1, and also Shatterstar comes. But, like, a lot of the other side characters from Deadpool 2 just are not in this movie.
And also, T.J. Miller's not there.
Yeah, T.J. Miller is also not there. But also, these characters are not really in this movie. It's whatever. Deadpool, we find...
They're in this scene.
Yeah, we find out Deadpool lives with Blind Al now, which he used to, but now he has moved out. He is no longer with Vanessa because of some sort of inadequacy that Deadpool was dealing with that forced them to break up. And he's having a birthday party, but he's happy. He's like, I love these people, and I don't even want to be Deadpool anymore. I'm good. TVA shows up, and they knock on his door, and they're like, hey, Deadpool, you got to come with us. He's like, no. He fights a bunch of them or whatever, but then he goes to they take him to the TVA where he meets Paradox, the guy played by the guy from Succession, Matthew McFadden.
Tom Wamsgans,
yeah, and he's there, and he's doing pretty much what Owen Wilson did in the first season of Loki, except British, so it's bad. And he's like, you're Deadpool, you're in the MCU now. He doesn't say that, but he pretty much says that. And Deadpool's like, cool, and that's great. I just need to get all my friends. And then Tom's like, you can't get all your friends because they're all going to die, because your universe is dying, because your anchor being is dead. And Deadpool's like, what? I'm the anchor being, I guess, or something. And she's like, no, you're not the anchor being. Wolverine is. And Wolverine is dead. Like we were saying, he will be dead because he dies in the Logan movie. But I guess this, time's a flat circle. All these movies take place at the same time or something. So Wolverine's death has rippled backwards through the multiverse or whatever. And basically Matthew McFadden is offering Deadpool a lifeboat. Deadpool's like, well, okay, sounds good. He takes the offer, puts a fancy new Deadpool suit on with some adamantium katanas. They're gold for the toys. And then he's like, hey, by the way, Paradox, look over there. And while he's looking over there, he steals his tempad. And what he's going to do, instead of all the stuff he was going to do that Matthew McFadden thought he was going to do, is just travel to a universe looking for Wolverines. Because if he can bring a new Wolverine, then he could save this world. Makes enough sense. He does this little montage, sees a bunch of Wolverines from different comics and stuff, ends up on and they all beat him up. Except for one who's too drunk to do it. So Deadpool's like, sick. This one's pretty drunk. I can get him. And he seems pretty upset, but whatever. I don't care. I just need one of them. He gets this guy, brings in the TVA. Paradox is like, oh, you picked the worst Wolverine because he let down his whole world. Also, this Wolverine had his costume on, so that's handy. And they're transported because, like, again, Paradox is like mad at what Deadpool's doing. To the void, but not before Paradox is like, by the way, I've got a little machine that's going to turn your universe into spaghetti. I'm putting it near your house. You'll see it later. It's important, but it's called the Time Ripper. We've never seen these before, but fuck it, whatever. It seems like I don't remember when we kind of figured this out, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I think Deadpool figures it out now because it's like, you're like a rogue agent. You're not supposed to be doing this, but you've just decided that you want to do this because you want to get the process going and you love destroying universes and whatever. So Deadpool, Wolverine are sent to the Void, the place from Loki. They fight next to the 25th Century Fox sign. And then before their fight ends, although it's like an even fight, it's stopped by Chris Evans shows up and he's like, don't worry, guys, we got to be friends and not fight because that's what she wants. And like, who's she? And then a bunch of goons come and it's all the ones from X-Men, like Pyro and Toad, and that's pretty much it. Oh wait, no, Sabretooth is here. And then the guy, who could it be? Captain America, you'd have to assume, is like, I'll fight them, don't worry. But then he turns into a Human Torch instead because Chris Evans played both of those guys and he flies around. I know, from Fantastic Four, the first one, the one that was kind of good. And then he gets sucked up. Yeah, well, looking back, it's okay. I think if they released it now, it would be like, all right, that's better than you'd expect, And I think it'd do pretty well. I think it'd do pretty well. I think we would like its cheesiness. We would like the scenes where they dance and stuff because we've turned a corner on that. And it's not a woman, so that would be Mr. Fantastic is allowed to dance. Is basically what I'm saying. Pyro sucks away all the fire from Human Torch. Human Torch dies, basically. He doesn't die, though, but like he's out. So then they all get captured by the X-Men, or the bad guys from X-Men movies, who use a big magnet. Not before Wolverine cuts Sabretooth's head off, but it doesn't really matter because the magnet gets both of them anyway. They're putting these little balls. They're dragged to the dead Ant-Man thing from the trailer. Big dead giant man from like Old Man Logan or something. And that's where a bunch of other reject villains from some of these movies and their stunt doubles seem to live. But also there is Cassandra Nova, a bald woman who for a second it's like, is that Charles Xavier? Then it's not. It's Emma Corrin. They're the we'll find out that they're Professor X's evil twin from the womb, who usually he kills, but in this universe or something, they killed him. So then they're sent to the void, probably for that reason. And it seems like the TVA's just gone a little like trigger happy with getting rid of variants that they just don't like. They're like, Cassandra Nova takes this a little personally. I guess they would all take it personally, but it's unclear if this is all just Paradox going through and pruning ones that he finds troublesome, or they just got here on their own. And also, none of the ones from Loki are here. None of the Lokis, they're somewhere else. There's a big fight. Oh yeah, Cassandra Nova kills Johnny Storm. Seems like it's Deadpool's fault, but it's not. We'll find out it's actually really Johnny Storm got himself in this trouble. But then Cassandra's like, you know what?
I mean, it's still Deadpool's fault.
And like, it's Deadpool's fault, but like, Johnny Storm, he was asking for it. And, he told him to tell her, like, he was, it could not have been any clearer as far as I'm concerned. But then Eliath comes. Well, first, Cassandra Nova reads their minds and is like, you guys are all bummed. You're bummed because of your relationship with your girlfriend and not being a superhero or whatever. And you're bummed because of some X-Men stuff. And she throws Wolverine in the ground because Cassandra Nova has the power of telepathy, but only, or like really good telepathy. But if she's touching your brain, it seems like, and she's telekinetic. So, and she can regrow all kinds of stuff. She's got all the powers. Eliath comes, almost eats everybody, but then Deadpool manages to jump on a big shoe that's a Sentinel shoe, or Wolverine does, and they takes Deadpool with him and they fly away. So Eliath doesn't eat him. They meet Nice Pool. He is Ryan Reynolds, and he has the dog, and they're friends, and they give him a van that they can use to get to other guys that know Johnny Storm. This is all very fun. They have a fight in the van because Deadpool kind of lied to Wolverine about being able to fix everything. Although, like, based on what he was told, I do feel like, well, Deadpool could be like, but like, come on, that's what something seems like is happening. But I don't know. That Wolverine takes this personally, says a lot of mean things about him. And then they are rescued, or not rescued, but like found by a group of people. Now, this is the big spoilery stuff. So it's a little girl wearing humongous shoes. We don't see them, but like, it's like, that's a small person, wherever that is. And then they wake up in a house with all kinds of little memorabilia from the Avengers movies, and they drink whiskey. And then Elektra, Jennifer Garner, shows up from Alias and stuff. And then
that's
Wesley
where she's
Snipes,
Elektra, yeah.
Yeah. Blade, Wesley Snipes shows up from Expendables 3. And then Gambit from
21 Jump Street.
From 21 Jump Street, from Nothing in Particular, played by Channing Tatum, shows up. Also, the Blade is Wesley Snipes, not Mahershala Ali, but that doesn't matter. Because outside of wearing a hat once, Mahershala Ali has never done any Blade. Well, no, I guess he said a line off screen, but yeah, his blading in the universe is pretty light. And they're basically, and they're led by X-23. Laura is in this universe as well. So they're all like, yeah, listen, Cassandra runs the void. We can't get out. It's fucked. And Deadpool's like, but we can. We got into her little area and we got out. So that means it could be done. And they're like, let's go do it. Wolverine's like, I'm sad about that. And X-23 is like, don't bother. And then you don't really see anything there. But then they all show up at the big fight, and they have a big fight. They spare Cassandra, which is very nice. And she uses the Doctor Strange ring to teleport them home. Everybody else, you would assume, dies. But Cassandra Nova also comes back, and she's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm bad now. I'm going to do the Time Ripper thing. I heard about that. And she goes and does that. And she sends Wolverine and Deadpool to keep them from fighting her, a bunch of Deadpools, including Blake Lively, a cowboy, a baby, a floating head, a child, samurai, all that shit. And all those army of Deadpools fight Wolverine and Deadpool. Wolverine puts his classic mask on, and then it's, just a big fight. But then they all get better because they're Deadpools. And also, why are they fighting Deadpool? I don't know. They were kind of teased earlier as being crazy and like, but they're also just like Deadpools. It doesn't matter because Peter shows up, and then they're like, oh, cool, we'll stop. Because this fight needed to end. The movie is almost over. And then they go down to the Red Ripper thingy, and it turns out that if you go down to turn it off, you're going to die. So Deadpool's like, I'm going to do it. And Wolverine's like, no, I'm going to do it. Deadpool goes to do it. Wolverine shows up, and then they both don't die. And then everything's cool because the one from Loki shows up, and she's like, hey, everything's fine. Matthew McFadden, you're fired or something. And X-23 is alive again. They all go to a birthday party and then look at a picture. And hooray at the end. Also, then we watch Deadpool look at the footage of Johnny Storm saying all the stuff that he said, Johnny said. So, realistically, Deadpool did nothing wrong. There's also a little montage of all the Fox stuff. And you go, wow, Dark Phoenix. Pretty good.
Set to the Green Day graduation song.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It was great. I could have just watched that. I would sit down and watch a little documentary about those movies. I like them. They could probably cut out all the parts with Fan Four Stick, but whatever. It's kind of cute that they tried. And yeah, that's the movie. There's not really too much stuff about the future besides that Wolverine and Laura now seem to exist in whatever universe this is. And Deadpool is allowed to be here, and the whole, all this stuff about the TVA didn't really count because of this rogue agent. Loki's never really brought up. Whatever. Well,
B-15 says that for some reason, everything they did made a new anchor being for the universe, which she never says if it's Deadpool or Wolverine. But whatever the reason is.
And Wolverine. That's why.
But that now the universe isn't going to die. And also, even if it was, Paradox said it would take 1,000 to 2,000 years. So it wouldn't have mattered for any of these guys anyway.
And also, anchor beings, I'm not positive about this, so I'm pretty sure the guy from WandaVision said the anchor being for 616 is Wanda. And she is dead. So, does nobody care in our universe? Because our Mobius not oh, that's the one I live in.
She's not really dead, is the thing.
I guess not. Yeah, she's crushed under a big rubble. That's the trick.
She's magic. She can do anything, and it doesn't count.
That's true. And all the story beats you don't like about her don't count either, because she was holding the book that makes her skin turn black. So she's actually not a bad guy. Those movies are good. Yeah, that's this movie. What'd you guys think? Great movie, huh? What's your favorite joke?
Oh, what was my favorite joke? Joke or bit?
Either.
I mean, I love the him doing the NSYNC dance at the beginning fight. I thought that was so good. Also, when they briefly played The Greatest Showman in the car radio, when they were Wolverine was slamming Deadpool's head into it, or maybe vice versa. But they played maybe a second and a half of The Greatest Show. That was funny.
The fact that one of those songs wasn't what the fight was set to is a travesty.
Yeah. And we know they own it because Disney's producing that play. So they could have. Instead, they did Grease, which is fine, I guess. I don't know. But yeah,
cowards? I mean,
cowards indeed. Well, we'll see soon. There have to be versions of this floating around online, because every time I open my YouTube, there's full scenes from this on some cam version. So, if anybody hasn't already, I'm sure someone will use The Greatest Showman and maybe it syncs up even better. And it's oh, that probably is what they wanted to use. But then people were we can't put The Greatest Showman in the middle of the movie because everybody will get too hyped. And then there'll be a letdown when The Greatest Showman music ends, Maybe it's that. It's like Ecstasy, but for music. But yeah, that was good when they had The Greatest Showman.
He is the greatest show.
This is the greatest show.
Yeah. And do you remember which bit they used from the song?
I don't.
No.
It's just that opening, that weird sound, And I was
the one that made all those people crash their freight trucks last week.
What? Oh, you
made that noise, and you were a bunch of people just crashed their trucks, and trolleys ran over 5 people instead of 1.
That's right. They did that. And you know what? This movie is a fun little movie. It has a couple of car crashes. I feel like movies have a lot of car crashes these days,
Well, reality has a lot of car crashes these days.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I guess his car doesn't crash as much as just they fight in it. But
yeah, they pull over and then they destroy it in their fight. It doesn't actually crash.
Yeah. Honda Odyssey, man. It's pretty good. Everyone loves it. What about you, Diggins? What was your favorite joke?
I liked when Ryan Reynolds looked into the camera and said, "The proposal."
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was probably the funniest individual joke for me, too. And for my theater. We really liked it.
My theater died at the Blade joke really got my theater. I don't know why.
Which one?
The there's only ever been one Blade and there's only ever gonna be one Blade. Like that joke killed in my theater. I don't know why.
That joke has two layers because Deadpool looks in the camera like it's not true, but actually it is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets to wash over you forever. It's not even true if you're just counting Blade stuff that's already been made, because everybody forgets this. They made a little Blade series on BET or something, and it was live action, and it lasted for a season, and apparently it's quite bad, but they did make it,
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the that bit was good. I do think Kim showing up, people like Jennifer Garner. People are like, oh, cool, Jennifer Garner. People lost their mind for him.
Yeah.
The people love tax evasion.
The people love tax evasion and other various crimes. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't do, but, jury's still out technically.
But not literally.
Well, yeah, definitely not literally. No jury has even been convened.
Well, they have for the tax evasion.
For the tax evasion, they have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is 100% done. Yeah, and then the Gambit one, I think got a lot of nerds reacted very positively to it, and all the people with them kind of were confused.
Yeah, but
then
Nando,
are you speaking from experience, Nando?
Kind of. I think you can I think you can see it and go, that's funny to see, and just go, I guess the joke is he's Gambit in this universe. That's funny, but I do feel like he's such a big star that I'm betting if I were an average moviegoer and I saw him in this, I'd be like, well, I would remember if he was Gambit in one of these, right? I love Gambit and I love him. So
who doesn't love Gambit?
Everybody loves Gambit. This is the year of Gambit. And it's,
You mean
except for the comics. Gambit. That's true. He's the Gambit. Now, I feel like he usually is just Gambit, right?
Yeah. As far as I know.
But he's the Gambit, yeah.
But he does talk weird.
And he uses his weird accent, which apparently is not as weird as it sounds. It's a somewhat accurate accent.
Oh yeah, it's a Cajun accent. I mean, it's one of America's sillier accents, but it is real.
It's our best accent. And he looks great. What did you think of him?
I thought he was very fun. It was unfortunate that it didn't look like he could move his neck.
Yeah. His neck's too big to be Deadpool, or to be a Gambit, Gambit's a slimmer figure.
Yeah, he's got that toe face.
Yeah. Other than that, I think he was pretty good. I like the costume they gave him. A pretty cool costume.
Yeah.
I like that he threw his little cards and they exploded.
Oh, so good.
Fun. Yeah. We finally got to see an on-screen live-action Gambit after 20 years.
And he blew up a lot of guys. Fully just took their heads off. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of little X-23 back again, but now slightly older, still pretty little comparatively to Blade, who's 50. I gotta assume. How old is Wesley Snipes right now? Let's Google it. What do you think? How old is he?
62.
I'll go 57.
I think I was 50 was 62 exactly.
Oh, Diggins.
Yeah.
Someone's up on his Wesley Snipes lore.
Mm-hmm.
Complete guess.
Yeah. I mean, I do think almost every one of those cameos has a face value funness to it. And then that extra, whatever that level of meta funness is. With Elektra, it's that she divorced her Daredevil and doesn't really like him anymore, right? And that joke is fun for some people, but not everybody in the audience. For Blade, it's that he hates Ryan Reynolds, but it's still just kind of funny to see him.
The joke is that Ben Affleck just can't stay married to Jennifer's.
Yeah, and I like it because so I don't remember what happened with their relationship. Did it end because he cheated on her or something?
I don't know.
That's a very Daredevil thing to do. Daredevil is maybe the biggest man whore in the Marvel's universe of comics. So it's funny that we hired an actor who is just in and out of the tabloids. Way to go, casting.
Wow, you had to specify that he's a man whore because men can't be whores, Nando?
How dare you?
We can't. Well, men, all right, men, Boston whore or whatever we want to call him. You know, he's like we don't classify him as a regular man. He is a Bostonian, and they're a special breed of weirdos, like our Mark Wahlbergs. Can you imagine if instead Mark Wahlberg was Daredevil? Would that be any good? No, probably not. Right?
Yeah, I don't think that plays.
He'd take it pretty seriously.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on the Wikipedia page about why they divorced.
I remember he said it was work, but that was like just kind of a foot in his mouth thing. That wasn't like the last straw. She's pretty good. She's the one who accidentally said she was in Deadpool. Remember that?
Is she?
In interviews? Yeah. People asked her like a year ago or something, and she was like, yeah, I'm in Deadpool. And everybody was like, what? She was like, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that.
Unlike Wesley Snipes, who publicly trash talked Marvel so that no one would know he would be in Deadpool. But probably he did feel that way, right?
Nope,
like probably he did it so he knew, because he knew he could later be like, I did it on purpose to trick people. But like he did feel that way.
No, this is like a 20-year con he's been doing. All that stuff he was doing on Blade Trinity was all so that he could make his return in Deadpool extra special, and it worked.
Oh yeah,
it totally
like
worked.
Him refusing to open his eyes,
Yep.
So they had to CGI eyelids on or eyes onto his eyelids.
Him and Ryan Reynolds would look at each other between takes and go, "They're not going to believe it when they find out this is all a bit for a movie that is going to make $1 billion." So it is payoff, but
people are going to think we fucking hate each other, but we're in on it. We know what's going on.
Good friends. Classic.
Do you think that on the set, like Ryan Reynolds went up to Wesley Snipes like, haha, you know, that thing happened 20 years ago, but like we're all professionals, and Wesley Snipes like spit in his face and went, fuck you.
I hate you so much. I'm Blade, motherfucker.
That's pretty much what he said. Well, no, because I actually read an interview, because these guys were all at Comic-Con. Yeah, they did like a screening of Deadpool Wolverine, and these guys all came on stage afterwards. And he specifically was like, you know, I didn't like Ryan when we did that Blade movie because I just did not think he was funny. But then over time, I saw Deadpool and I was like, wow, he's really got a thing and it's working. And now I respect him. So that's like his whole explanation for why Wesley Snipes now likes Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something.
Doesn't really seem like it matches commensurately the amount of annoyance he had to Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he does seem kind of annoying, I guess, in those movies. Like, if he's just doing that on, you know, set, that'd be kind of annoying. But I don't know about, like, don't speak to anybody and not Blade character kind of annoying or whatever.
Well, I mean, so we know there's many ways in which Ryan Reynolds is like The Rock. Did he also show up 8 hours late and pee in bottles?
Maybe. Well, I don't
that
know.
would annoy me.
That would annoy me. I know they don't. Like, specifically, I think Ryan Reynolds was the one that was like, I hated that he did that. He was, which do you think him and Chris Evans, while they were on set as Deadpool and Human Torch, were they like, man, fucking The Rock is so weird. He makes movie sets awful. Did you see any of his pee bottles? I did see them.
I accidentally drank one of the pee bottles once. It was disgusting.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Has Wolverine ever been in a movie with him, Hugh Jackman?
I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah, none
know.
are jumping to mind. But if it was, it probably would have been a while ago. So, yeah. Back when he was, like, not a lunatic.
Back when he didn't have the cachet to show up 8 hours late.
Yeah. What did your theater think of okay, how about this? When was it clear to you that they were doing the Human Torch thing?
Oh, when he said flame on. That's how late I was today.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
I caught on slightly sooner than that, but only when... I think I caught on when Deadpool was like, oh man, he's about to do it. And I'm like, okay, so obviously this is someone else. And then I was like, right, he was Human Torch.
Yeah, I guess... I don't know why I thought... I didn't think that was what it was. Partially just because he didn't have a shield. I was like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna just punch, I guess. But he looked great, you know?
Sure did.
Love to see him out there.
It's nice to see Chris Evans doing his thing.
Yeah.
I wish he would do more different things, but, you know, he's funny in this movie.
Hey,
so
Red
that's
One.
different.
coming to a theater near you, buddy.
We'll see.
He's literally not.
Maybe. Well, your home is a theater. Your phone is a theater. On the train. Everywhere is a theater.
I thought they were releasing it in theaters, though. Are they not?
Are they?
I thought they were.
I mean,
they
they want to get the Oscar consideration. They technically have to in a couple places, so, I'm sure they'll get like one or two.
Yeah, they'll have a week run in New York City and in LA so that it can get so it can qualify.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be tough though because it's gonna have to go up against this for the Oscar. Perseverance wins either way. That's the play, baby.
Yep, best cameo in a superhero movie. That's gonna be a competitive Oscar this year.
Best use of a face to going like what or something because he does that good in this and he does that great in that Red One trailer. He does like 3 or 4 times. Was he the best cameo? The one that like you loved you most with your little heart? Was there a deep cut one that you loved even more? Was it Happy Hogan's all the weird shit on his desk from the other Iron Man movies? Like that little kinetic sculpture where you're like, I remember that from Iron Man 2.
I think it was Human Torch, honestly. I don't have the same kind of affection for the old X-Men movies that you do.
Because of homophobia.
Because of homophobia, yes.
Yeah, you could not connect with the central metaphor.
Right, yeah. Where they made it about gay people instead of civil rights, and I was like, ew, icky, gooey. I hate this.
Yeah, God hates this. That was what your sign said. It's God hates X-Men.
That's right.
A popular sign those days.
But yeah, so like, I did think those were cool. Like when Elektra and Blade and Gambit showed up, I was like, that's funny. But I think Human Torch was the one, maybe because it was first, so it got me the most. Where I was like, that's good. So I think that one's probably my favorite.
What about you, TJ? Who was your favorite? Was it Azazel, the guy that's Nightcrawler's dad? Who
if they made a joke about him being some weird interdimensional demon who was Nightcrawler's dad, then that would have rocketed to the top of my list.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
I mean, mine had to be Blade just because it's just the most improbable. It's crazy Wesley Snipes is in this movie. Like, it's actually crazy to me. Like, not only for the, it's you'd think that him and Ryan Reynolds had, like, super beef, but also, like, I don't know, man. I my word association is still Wesley Snipes tax evasion. Like that's still like my word association. Like it's like, yeah, we're just gonna throw him in a Marvel movie. Like, no worries. I was just like shocked by it, which like makes it the most surprising, but also my most favorite because I'm like, oh my god, this is just so fun.
It's not his character name from Expendables 3. That's not the first thing you think of now.
Like Dr. Death or something.
I legitimately forgot what it is.
It's something doctory. It's like I mean, it might just be the Doctor, but I don't think that's what it is because that's what Doctor Who calls himself. So I don't know if they can get away with
Wesley
that.
Snipes is one of the doctors.
I'm the new Doctor in these, motherfucker. The Doctor is part of the Expendables now. I can't be killed, or I regenerate, I guess. So new actor next movie. Jodie Whittaker is an Expendable now. Because she died, and then the next guy from Barbie, we all liked him. It's pretty cool in Barbie. Shuti Gatwa, I think is his name.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It is Dr. Death.
It's Dr. Death. Okay. Wow. I really should have played the game today, huh? If only things had worked out.
Oh, you should have challenged DJ for the throne. Should have said, let's play the game anyway. And if I win, then I get it. And because it would have been funny to force DJ to do that. I would have said yes.
It would have taken years. This week. Yeah.
We would have implemented my rules
on Aaron Stanford roles alone. We would have been here for days. I liked him as Pyro. Did he do 2 different accents during the movie or something, though? I couldn't figure this out. His first line comes out really weird. And I'm like, oh, he's doing his Australian accent like his character's supposed to have in the comics. That's cute. And then later, he just kind of sounds like he's got a mouthful of food. But it just doesn't... I couldn't figure out what was going on with him. They also gave him really weird teeth, so... I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to be
That's not just his teeth. That's like weird, different teeth.
Maybe. Oh, maybe.
Just stuffed his mouth full of marbles. That's all.
Hard times. How about my favorite cameo is Rob McElhenney? Do you guys like him from It's Always Sunny?
Wait, say his last name again?
Cameo?
Rob, for like Mac from Always Sunny.
I know who you mean, but what was his cameo?
He was a TVA agent whose team got cut. But he was in there. So we're not sure who he was. I have a feeling, and I have to watch the movie again to like zoom this out. There was a scene in one of the trailers where like a shot during the big Alioth, first time Alioth goes and just kills everybody, where a TVA agent gets eaten by Alioth. And it's just in like the first trailer, and he's like, whoa, 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 and then it just gets ripped out of the like to death. They're also towing another ball full of a guy, because all three of our main characters are in one of the balls that's being towed to Cassandra. There's somebody else in the other one. I have a feeling he's a captured TVA agent who gets sacrificed to Alioth in that scene or something. But they ended up cutting it. Yeah, because he did film it, and he was like, man, Deadpool Wolverine, so great, really fun to watch it. Apparently there was something wrong with my theater because they didn't play my scene, but I met everybody else loved it. And that's pretty cool, you know.
I do feel better
friend.
now that I didn't just miss him entirely, because you said that and I was like, I guess I didn't pay attention.
Nah, yeah, his cameo got cut.
Just like your cameo got cut, right, Nando?
I mean, I was gonna be the new Kang, and then they decided to get Robert Downey Jr. and then they fired me. It's bullshit.
Damn.
I would have been good at it too, because I could say all the things he says, right? What does he say? He says like, I want to win or something. Remember that?
Oh yeah, my classic favorite Kang line.
Can you do a fake stutter?
Oh no, I can't. I have too much respect for our president, and I would never do something like that. I guess Jonathan Majors is the other way about it. I don't know. But I like the other cameo is good. I liked all the random background extras dressed as X-Men villains, kind of. That you see them and you go, I think that's supposed to be the one from X3, but I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry, you go.
I was gonna say they got the Sabretooth back. I'm pretty sure that's the same actor, Tyler Mane, from the first ones. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that was Pyro. I don't think any of the rest of them were the real guys.
Lady Deathstrike was also real.
Oh, really? So Toad with Ray Park?
Toad and Lady Deathstrike, I believe, are both real.
Really?
Lady Deathstrike is on the IMDb, but I could not. I looked at a couple of these too, and I've seen other people say this. It does not look like it's her. Kelly, who like is a person that exists, right? Like she's like a human being. We have a picture of her now, and I feel like that sometimes IMDb is wrong about this stuff, and
it's in the credits of the movie too. I mean, they could be lying, but they do say that's Kelly Hu.
Like I agree, or like I believe you, but also I don't buy it. I think they fucked up.
I think these motherfuckers be lying.
To be fair, when I did my X-Men video, I learned they've done this before. They've accidentally credited actors as the wrong character and stuff, and just left it in the credits of the movie. So maybe they just do it for fun to fuck with us.
Or maybe it's like that one dwarf in the third Hobbit movie where they couldn't use any of the footage, so they just made him out of CGI and it looked really bad.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know? Yeah, there's this one like minor character in the third Hobbit movie who shows up.
They're all minors. He's a minor character.
Nailed it.
You already said one of the dwarves. Mm-hmm.
That's right. I mean, he shows up with like a bunch of soldiers because one of the handsome dwarves is his cousin. The lead handsome dwarf is his cousin.
Is this Bill Connolly's guy?
Maybe. I don't know the actor's name. He's not one of the dwarves in all the movies. He's a relation.
Yeah, he's only in the third one.
Yeah, he's only in the third one. He's a relative of Florence who shows up with his army to help him.
Yeah, it's this guy. He rides like a big pig or something.
Yeah. That the whole thing is CGI because they couldn't use his footage. And it's
that's funny.
It's very obvious if you look at it. Nobody was fooled.
Love it. What happened though? Like, did they just forget to turn the camera on when he was there?
I don't know. I don't know why the footage wasn't usable. I just know that's why they said they did that entire thing in CGI.
Just always drinking a big cup of Starbucks, saying his lines through the Starbucks cup. And they were like, please, Billy, please put it down. We need to do the movie. I've got to finish my coffee or something, he would say. He's quite Scottish.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, it's like that, I guess. Kelly Hu, she was potentially there. What other X-Men had cameo guys that were actors in a costume?
I know it wasn't the same actor, but they had X3 Juggernaut, the one no one likes.
Yeah, and not even a British one either. And like Deadpool kind of almost said that. He's like, you're that other Juggernaut. But he really is like the other Juggernaut. because like his movie had a cool one.
He didn't say the classic Juggernaut line, so
He didn't say that.
Which is the
Some
one
guys-
that Juggernaut said.
Yeah, some guys got to say their classic lines though. That's pretty cool. Like Blade, he said 2 classic lines.
he said, "I'm Blade, bitch."
I guess, yeah, actually, never mind. He said 1 classic line.
Yeah.
Did he say something?
Motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
He said that. Did he also say something when he shot the guy with the stake gun? Or did he just like look at him funny? I feel like
I
there
don't
was like a
recall.
little moment, but now that I think about it, I don't think he said anything. Who else was there? Azazel, everybody loves him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He stands out in a crowd because of that skin color, so that's handy.
Wow, racist.
Yeah, I am against red mutants. Mutants have to be blue or nothing. Blue or normal, whatever your actual skin color is. Red doesn't look good. I don't know who that actor is, so he could have been the real one. I don't know. Apparently, one of the guys was the Punisher's bad guy. The Russian man with the little tank top is, that's from something.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
One of the multiple Punisher movies that they call out in this one.
There have been a lot of Punisher movies.
It's true.
There have been, 4, I think? 4 if you count John Barenthal Punisher. But like,
I think there's Thomas Jane, there's John Barenthal, there's the one with Dolph Lundgren, but it's not.
And
he's
then-
not the Punisher, right?
no, I think he is.
He is. Okay.
Yeah, and then Ray Stevenson, I think, did one between Tom Jane and what's his name? John Barenthal.
Right.
Punisher Warzone, the one that's also kind of good. How about this? What was your least favorite cameo?
Oh my gosh, least favorite?
So I'll say it at once. 1, 2, 3. Henry
Elektra.
Cavill. Oh, where were you guys?
No,
guys were
you know what? If I had remembered that was in there, I would have been right
Yeah.
there with you, Nando.
It felt so off. I don't know what it was.
You didn't like
Was
it even
the-
for the gag?
I feel like you got to do more than that, though. Either they're all Wolverine or they're all different actors that could have played Wolverine. It felt so, I don't know, like incomplete as a joke. Also, like he's bad casting for Wolverine. He's just a big giant man.
Yeah,
I love our
Wolverine's
big giant men.
A little guy. Wolverine's
Apparently.
tiny.
Yeah, his little shirt goes at the axe throwing bar. Seems like something Wolverine wouldn't even tolerate. What was your favorite little gag Wolverine?
Naked on the cross with the red skulls.
That was
pretty
pretty
good.
cool. Yeah. From that one book where they crucify him.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks that Wolverine didn't or Deadpool didn't help him.
Yeah.
That's a good peak Wolverine time too. Like if you got Outback era Wolverine out of there, he probably would have been a really good ally for killing Cassandra Nova or whatever
Man,
it was. he
you
was trying to
pull
do
you
at that
pull
point.
any '90s Wolverine out,
Yeah.
yeah, you're set.
That would have been a great.
That was
Great
his
time.
heyday.
What about you, DJ? Who's your favorite Wolverine?
I mean, obviously it's I mean, there's so many. It's hard to pick.
I mean,
know.
DJ,
There
why
are
don't
so
you
many, it's hard
list
to pick.
all the Wolverines so
Yeah.
that you can sort of like think about it, think out loud by telling us every Wolverine that shows up in that montage.
Yeah, well, obviously you have
Here, wait, and to make it easier for him, Diggins, can you sing a non-copyright version of "The Power of Love"? So maybe that'll help jog his memory.
Oh, sure.
You know,
The power of love is a beautiful thing. Makes a
Okay.
one man
say the Wolverines, DJ.
Another one
This is
power
horrible.
of love.
Bum, bum,
It might just change your life.
bum, bum.
That's the power of
This is terrible.
love.
This is horrible.
Everybody got out of a whole Greatest Showman episode with none of us singing any of the songs. This is what you get, everybody. We'll sing a song every episode for the rest of our lives. But wait, DJ, can you not remember any other Wolverines?
Okay, so
Okay.
there's the Cross Wolverine. There was Short Wolverine. There
Yep.
was who's like the '80s Wolverine. What kind of what,
That was Age of Apocalypse Wolverine
Apocalypse,
with the one
yeah.
hand and the big hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Mhm.
cool.
he was pretty good looking.
Who else was there? There was I can't remember.
Inexplicable Henry Cavill.
Right, well, yeah, Cavalrine. Was that all of them?
No, there were like 3 others at least.
I guess they didn't resonate with me.
There
Wow.
was Short King Wolverine. There was Naked on the Cross Wolverine.
That one he said. There was Patch, the
Patch.
casino.
We love Patch.
Patch at
There
the
was
casino.
Old Man Logan on his porch.
Oh, that's right.
And then the best one, John Byrne Wolverine with the Hulk in his reflection of his little things.
Yeah.
That costume looked great, I imagine. I need someone. Well, I need to just open youtube.com and I'll probably see it.
You can watch the whole movie right now. It's no problem.
It looked so good. It's funny that he fought the Hulk a little bit, but not really that much, you know. I was kind of hoping if they did that. So it was and wasn't. His first appearance is fighting the Hulk, but it's not in that costume. It's in his stupid little cat costume.
Yeah.
Where he has like the little cat like eyebrows, and I was kind of hoping to see him in that. Although the brown and tan or whatever it's called looked great. So that's the one from that cover where you can see his thing in it. Not the one where you can see his thing in it. That's a different cover. That's the one. His thing. Yeah, you ever seen that cover where Nightcrawler's gonna suck his dick?
Hey.
No.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, jealous.
It's a very famous cover. It's Wolverine sitting in a bar with his back kind of on a chair, kind of like this, and he's sitting in front of a table, and there's a beer bottle where his dick would be, and Nightcrawler's like looking at him, and it's very suggestive. It's very like, okay, this is gonna happen. You know, Wolverine's gay sometimes in the movies, and well, not in the movies, but in everything else. So, you know, they could maybe throw a little bit of that in these movies.
I mean, you can't live 200 years without getting a little curious, right?
I guess so. And I mean, Nightcrawler, you know, seems like a fun guy. Everybody likes him, you know.
It depends on the continuity, because sometimes he's super Catholic.
That's true, but he's still, I feel like in most of the comics, he's still kind of a little, I mean, he's an X-Men, so they're all sleeping together constantly. But there's a lot of good, like, relationships with Nightcrawler where it's like, oh, he could have maybe gone with her, but he didn't. And it's like, oh, him and her had a thing, but it didn't work. But yeah, he's a real romantic, an Errol Flynn type, as they would say. There's a wheel, you guys. We've already covered.
We haven't gotten to the wheel yet.
No, most of this is the wheel, just out of order. I'm gonna spin the wheel. Tick, tick, tick. It landed on one of Diggins's. Marina Baccarin is in this too, aka Divorce Pool. What do we think of her?
I mean, I would love to form an opinion on her, but unfortunately, the writers, for the third time in a row, have been like, "What if woman character gone?"
And man character though, new man. You know. That's pretty good. Because that's the second one, too. It's like, oh, he's going to be your wife? It's like, no, she's dead. Here's a big guy with a big giant gun. And then this third one, it's like, she's going to be your wife? No, we broke up. Here's a big giant man. He drinks and curses. Cool.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to actually make any kind of suggestion that they might kiss.
No.
Because you can only go so far.
Yeah. Now, do you think Marina Baccarin, do you think she's like, oh, I wanted to be Wolverine in this. Like, I wanted to be cool and be in the movie. Or you think she's just collecting a nice big paycheck and, you know, laughing all the way to the bank?
I mean, I feel like this one is probably, if it's going to be what it is, where they just don't know how to write a woman character. This is the best version of it for her, because she shows up in 2 scenes, does basically nothing, and then, yeah, she catches a big check.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, you know, she's an actress. She would like it if she was actually doing something.
Yeah. Like cashing the check, which is what I would like. That would be my favorite part if I was her.
This movie probably upped her quote like crazy, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Even if she does a bad job.
Yeah, and she did an okay job.
No, she did fine. I mean, she did fine with the nothing.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of the guy she was dating now?
I don't.
Did it start with a D?
I think it's Daryl. But I don't remember if that's supposed to be anybody we know.
I don't think so. She said it's someone she met from work, right?
Yeah. And she has like an office job now.
Yeah.
Soul crushing, but she loves it or something.
Something like that. And why did they break up, Nando?
Because he's so sad about stuff. He doesn't like it when he's Deadpool. It's pretty relatable. Wesley Snipes also doesn't like it when he's Deadpool. You know? But then he watched the movie and he was like, wow, it's pretty funny. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird that she's not in this.
I mean, it's just like, if you're going to not use her, like, whatever. But the fact that it's like they broke up, divorced, whatever, so that they can get back together at the end, it's like, why can't she just be there and she's supportive or whatever, and she's just not a big part of the movie? Why do they also have to break up?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just it really, I'm making some goof 'em ups, but it really does feel like they just genuinely don't know how to write a relationship or like a female character. So
Yeah.
they just fall back on cliches.
And a bunch of the other female characters, I did expect, because we knew from one of those trailers that Laura was going to be in it. And then when everybody jumps through the portal, and she's close enough to the portal to potentially jump through, but then Psylocke steals her with a whip and she doesn't. I'm like, oh, I kind of thought she was going to be in this. And then at the party, when Negasonic and Yukio are there, you're like, oh, are they going to be in this? It's like, no, not really. They're not in it either. So that was pretty weird. I guess Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova, that's something, you know?
Wow.
Not your typical male character.
Yeah. But okay. I feel like this is weird because we often call characters by their actors' names, and Cassandra Nova is a female character, but Emma Corrin is a non-binary actor.
Yeah, I feel like I imagine.
This is just me being like, I have to pick one pronoun and commit to it, and then use that name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go with Cassandra Nova, but I understand that Emma Corrin is a non-binary actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, she's the villain, so I feel like that's different, right? Like, you don't have to write her as a woman; you just have to write your standard villain character, and a female presenting person just happens to read the lines.
Yeah.
Now, one might suggest that
good character.
That's generally acceptable for many female characters, to just write a character and then a woman reads the lines. But you aren't a Deadpool writer, so what do you know?
Lol.
It's a good point. Anybody know how many writers there were in this movie?
7.
It was like 1 billion. Yeah, probably.
Really? Oof.
I made up a number, but I wouldn't be shocked.
These movies get like kind of rewritten a lot, so I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a couple of 5, including Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy.
It's not a terrible number.
Yeah, I think
good number.
I mean, it's a great number. Look at how good the movie was. So the other one was Rhett Reese, who wrote Ghosted. We loved Ghosted.
Oh man,
yeah, we sure did.
Yep,
that's how they got Chris Evans in.
And then Paul Wernick, who wrote Ghosted. We all like Ghosted.
Oh boy.
And then Zeb Wells, who wrote all those Spider-Man comics everyone loves. And with Paul, that's right. And he did not write Ghosted, but he would have had some great ideas, I bet.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Paul would have shown up halfway through.
Yeah.
And been like, sorry, Chris Evans, but I'm having sex with Anna de Armas now.
Oh, yeah. Is it Ryan Reynolds in that movie, too?
He is.
In that scene? Yeah. Good. Him and Chris Evans probably talk about how much they can't stand The Rock all the time. They're probably like, I got a new Rock story for you on the set of Free Guy. And they're like, yeah.
I guess we
what
did
he do this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Miranda Cameron's barely in this. Or maybe she's all the characters because she can shapeshift sometimes in the comics. So, you pick a character in the background that you thought was well characterized. She was Blade. How about that? I'm going to just assume all that was Vanessa. It's pretty good. Yeah. She killed Toad. Big ups. Okay. Spin the wheel. Landed on one of mine. MCU interview. I still don't understand what this even kind of was. I don't understand why it's in the movie, because he seems like he's just kind of sad as the whole thing starts. It's like, oh, I'm not good enough to be a superhero. I got to quit because I just have a confidence issue. I don't think he needs to get rejected by, Jon Favreau or something. But also, like, yeah, what is his job? Is he like...
What, Happy's job?
Yeah, is he president of the Avengers now?
I don't think
I think
so.
he's the head of
Doesn't
Avengers
seem
HR,
right.
probably.
Yeah. And then if he is, who else is in it? Is it just him? Is he like have it? He owns the name, so like he has a storefront and it's like with all the shit. And then like Captain America's just off doing his own thing.
It feels
flying
like
around.
even more than in like the comic books, the whole like Avengers as an enterprise is inextricably linked up with Tony Stark's like businesses.
Yeah.
So like the Avengers is effectively the private army of a corporation.
So it's like Blackwater. That's what we're dealing with.
Essentially, yeah. That's the Avengers in the MCU.
Blackwater, but like silly, you know, like
It's silly
funny
Blackwater,
jokes.
not like an evil, dark Blackwater.
They land on each other's genitals and head face to genitals a lot. Pretty good.
Only in movies when certain people write them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think so. He's just like he's like works on the finance side of the Stark organization, and that puts him in charge of all Avengers stuff because the Avengers fall under that heading.
Cool. Good. I like that he's in charge for some reason, and also he just rejects Deadpool.
Yeah, my question is like, why do they have interviews with the business side? Do they pay them?
I don't know. No, they don't, because we find out Anthony Mackie tries to take out a loan. They do not have an Avenger salary.
Yep.
in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
That's right.
They have no equity.
So,
They have nothing to put up.
Nope. So it's like a pyramid scheme or something. You got to like recruit 5 Avengers. Like you're paying to be in it. But then you'd figure they would want Deadpool in it because that would be good for the pyramid scheme. I don't know.
Yeah, but you gotta maintain like the brand image, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess that's true. He would be a bad brand ambassador.
but yeah, I mean, this scene exists solely for the meta jokes, right? Like that's the only reason.
I guess. And I agree, but also I just didn't like it that much. I don't know. None of these jokes really worked for me. And I think it was mostly because throughout this scene I was confused about what it was. But I don't know, whatever. I guess maybe Jon Favreau was like, we should do a scene in my real office. And then they did. That's pretty great. I wanted to see that cool kinetic sculpture.
Right. And thus they needed a scene to introduce Deadpool's character flaw that he has to struggle with, which is that he wants things.
He wants to be an Avenger, but he was rejected by them, even though he started X-Force, which no longer exists for no reason, because both of the main characters from the second movie that were in it are gone.
As is Domino, who also does not show up.
That's who I was talking about as the main character that was in it. Because like him, I would say Cable, Domino, and Deadpool is X-Force, right? So both of those other two are gone. But like, and I guess Peter's still there. So him and Peter are the remaining X-Force. But yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Why does he want to be an Avenger?
Well, he says that Vanessa's like, you gotta do something big and important, which doesn't appear to be what she's saying later.
Yeah.
When we flash back to it. But he's like, I gotta go do big important stuff so my girlfriend will love me again. And Happy Hogan's like, that doesn't seem like it makes sense or would work. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. That part was weird.
Remember when I said that the story doesn't really work in this movie, guys?
Listen. You may be, technically correct that the quote unquote story doesn't work, but does it matter? Does it matter?
Yes.
No. It doesn't matter.
Nando gets it. Nando gets it.
That's apparently it.
It doesn't matter. What is the point of a story in a Deadpool movie? The point of this movie is to say the F word, had some cool fight scenes, and just fart around.
They said the F word a lot.
They
90
did say
times
many
or
F
whatever.
words.
Yeah, no more, 100 and something.
100, wow.
They broke a record
Even more
for Deadpool movies.
But, you know,
it was mostly Chris Evans in that post-credit scene.
yeah, right, exactly. But, you know, do I need a cohesive story? No, yeah. I don't, Diggins. There's a little comic called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where he just goes around and kills the Marvel Universe. Is there a story? I don't remember. I just remember how Deadpool going around killing the Marvel Universe.
Here's the thing, DJ. I don't care if something doesn't have a story, if that's what it is. Like, Hundreds of Beavers, a movie I've wrecked before, is mostly an excuse to string together a bunch of, like, old slapstick jokes, and that's fine. My problem is that they put the shape of a story in this movie and then don't actually do it.
I mean, what are we talking about?
My point is, this is a thing I complain about constantly with these Marvel movies, where they say, here's the story and the character arc, and like people tell you that's what's happening, but it's not actually happening. And
right,
like
because
nothing
they
in the
changed
story
it.
actually supports it. And like that's what I don't like.
Yeah, the rewrites changed the character arc, so they have to do something else, you know? That's how that's fine. You know? Maybe Captain Marvel feels bad about whatever it is she did in the first draft of that script. Let's see if she figures it out by the end of this one. I don't know. I'm gonna spin the wheel because I have something kind of similar. It's the scene that's missing. So it feels like there's a scene that's missing right in the middle of the movie. And so Wolverine is sitting at the campfire and he's like, I'm a bad Wolverine. And then Laura's like, you always are a bad Wolverine until you're cool. And he thinks about it. It's like, But then right before that, they've all decided to go fight Cassandra Nova. And Deadpool is like, you gonna help Wolverine? He's like, no. And then they go to Cassandra Nova. And then they have a whole thing where they storm the base by blowing up the front of the thing. And everybody very dramatically walks out of the van. And then just Wolverine's there in the van secretly as like a little reveal. I feel like there was like something else that had to have happened between those two, right? Where like he thinks about it or something, or like Deadpool's like, fuck you, Wolverine, you're not coming. I don't know.
Well, Nando, you see, as my good friends, David Benioff and DB Weiss have taught me, the most important thing is to surprise the audience, even if it makes things not make sense or goes in the face of the established character or is just plainly a bad idea. If it's surprising, then that's the most important thing. So we can't show Wolverine's actual character development because then it won't be surprising when he shows up in the fight.
Yeah. And it's weird because he got a big like musical cue for that too. Like that was another one of those songs from my childhood. T.I., famously good guy, never done anything wrong. They like the whole chorus kicks in right as he like rolls out of the back of the van. But like, yeah, he's just there. Also, I feel like Deadpool, it feels like there's like definitely versions. And this is a movie that was shot during the writer's strike because might as well, I guess.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they clearly weren't listening to the writers for the most part anyway.
So maybe there was like different versions of this movie, but it definitely feels like there's a movie where like Ryan Reynolds assembles this group of superheroes that are from the movies that nobody loves because that's like what he does or something. But instead he shows up and they're like a little resistance already. And they're like, he goes like, we should fight Cassandra Nova. And they're like, we can't. And he's like, we were over there the other day. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then they all just decide to. I feel like there's like a whole 20 minutes of movie in the middle of there where they find those guys and they all say no. But you know what? We wanted to get to that part where they all ran around and said, bring him out. And that was pretty cool.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
I do also want to say, since we're talking about when Wolverine talks about his backstory with Laura, so the eventually revealed full backstory of this Wolverine is he was out getting drunk one day. He was part of the X-Men. He was out getting drunk. A bunch of anti-mutant human activists came and killed all the other X-Men. First of all, fucking how?
Drop the nuke on the X-Mansion or something.
Like, yeah, what could they possibly have had with them that allowed them to do that?
Yeah.
That they could fight a man who shoots laser beams out of his eyes, and a psychic woman who could read their minds and force them to not do things.
And who could never die, kind of, and just gets reborn constantly.
Yeah.
And potentially another little Wolverine or something, right? Because, like, he kind of knows her. Does he have an X-23 in his universe, do you think?
I don't think... No, he doesn't.
You don't think...
Because because Deadpool has to explain it to him, remember?
Ah, I see.
So he doesn't know about her. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, first of all, fucking how. Secondly, the next part of that, which we find out even later, is that the reason why he's the worst Wolverine isn't because of that. It's because when he found out, he went around and killed a whole bunch of people. But not just the people who did it, he just killed like random humans. And it basically is a mass murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that makes the scene in the bar so weird. Because it's no longer like, you washed up old jerk, what are you doing in my bar? It's like, hey, it's that prolific serial killer. I don't like you being in my bar.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to leave quietly. Yeah. I'm asking you to leave quietly, John Wayne Gacy.
I mean, you know, that's one option. Maybe it usually works. Maybe he's going to kill everybody in this bar afterwards. I don't know. It is a crazy backstory. But, like, I don't understand it because... Okay, so in Logan, Charles killed all the X-Men by accident, right? That's, like, the backstory of what happened to them.
He had, like, psychic dementia.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Are you guys familiar with how that actually plays out in the Old Man Logan comic?
Probably really gross and disgusting and like just not well handled because it's a Mark Miller comic.
I think the idea is better than any of that. Well, I don't know if it's better than Professor X one, but it's definitely what this should have been, which is Mysterio tricks Wolverine into killing the X-Men. He tricks Wolverine into thinking that like Sabretooth is at the X-Mansion and Wolverine kills them all. And then when it's over, he's like, wait, what happened? And Mysterio's like, oh yeah, those are all your friends. And then he like loses his mind. And like, yeah, that's a pretty good backstory if you want your ex, like your Logan to be really sad about X-Men stuff. But, you know.
Yeah, what I like about this backstory is like it's apparently this isn't the reason he's a sad alcoholic. He already was.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is so like, why were you like just off getting drunk and not helping? Like, why were you already bad?
Yeah. And also, hey, Wolverine, and Deadpool should know this because Deadpool's seen all the movies. Hawkeye already did this, right? Wasn't Hawkeye's whole thing in Endgame like, my family's murdered, so I'm just going to go around killing everybody because fuck it, I'm so badass. And he's already been redeemed, so I don't know. Just do whatever that is. He
killed criminals only. Wolverine explicitly says he just killed random innocent people because he was so mad.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Yeah, this movie's weird. Spin the wheel again. One more. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange should use that ring to teleport out of there. What was he doing? You know?
Yeah, if that works, why did he stay at all?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was like, I gotta help everybody, and then she, you know, like, Cassandra Nova just melted his little brain. Then how did she know how it works? I guess she could read his mind.
But you gotta put her fingers up in there.
Yeah.
Right, but if you can read someone's mind and they're a wizard, can you just, like, learn all the secrets of wizardry? That's pretty good.
I mean...
Handy.
I guess, yeah. I guess you probably still have to practice doing it, right? But you learn how to do all of it.
Yeah. Cool. I spun the wheel again. Tick, tick, tick. Another one. Deadpool and Peters. This bit felt like it was the last day or something. They were just like, we need the Deadpools to stop fighting Deadpool. Because that was weird, right?
I mean, it was, they realized they wrote themselves into a corner because they wanted the big cool fighting Deadpool's thing, but then Deadpool's can regenerate. So they're like, so this fight can't actually end, right? Like, it'll just go on forever. So they had to really quickly, and yeah, I guess it was the last day of shooting. They weren't done with the script yet. And they had to really quickly come up with something like, and then, what's that actor's name?
Rob Delaney.
Rob Delaney was just on set that day. So like Peter's the reason it stops because they all love him.
Yeah, it's a weird moment in the movie specifically because Deadpool's like, we got to get to the subway station because then we have to go down and touch the machine or whatever. And all the Deadpools are like, we're not going to let you get to the subway station. They kill them all, but then they like regenerate. But they're at the subway station. So just go into it, you know? Like, go do whatever you were going. It doesn't matter if they regenerate. It's going to take them 10 minutes or maybe even a minute, but more than enough time. But
yeah, this whole scene is like, it's obviously just there to be like a cool action sequence and like, that's fine. But it like so transparently doesn't matter or make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird.
It felt weird to me. And I would have forgiven it if, so it's one of those one-er shots, right? Where you do the whole fight scene in like one take. It's not really one take, but
wow, one take.
It's meant to look that way.
Incredible. What is this, Old Boy?
That's right.
Finally, something's fight. Old Boy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think I would be more forgiving of that as a choice if Guardians 3 didn't do it way, way, way cooler last year.
How dare you?
But you see, Diggins, for the Guardians 3 one, they had the advantage of having like 15 characters. This, they had only 2. So they couldn't just keep switching between them. So they both had to be on screen the whole time. And then you had to keep trying to figure out which one's which. And then, you know, which one we're supposed to be watching at any given moment.
And also one of those characters looks like every other character.
Yeah, one of them is just the other guys, but without all the hats.
So that also helps.
Yeah, man, why is the Deadpools in it? Why were they the bad guys? Like,
I don't know, man.
You kind of feel like, if anything, Deadpool's going to have to lead the army of the Deadpool Corps to fight Cassandra Nova or something, you know? Because the wasteland's full of Deadpools. But, like, instead, Cassandra Nova's like, I'll call the Deadpools to help kill you. Yeah, why did that happen at all?
And then they, like, Wolverine and Deadpool are, like, say out loud, like, why are you doing this? You'll just die. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And they're like, fuck it, who cares?
Right? Yeah. The only thing I would have accepted there, the only joke I think they could have gotten away with is if Cassandra Nova summoned all the Deadpools, but also summoned Rob Liefeld. And then Rob Liefeld was the one who was like, I'm going to just have him fucking kill you. And then Deadpool's like, but that doesn't make sense. He's like, I don't know. I'm not a very good writer. That's just what we're doing here. You know, kind of Deadpool in the 90s. That's what we're doing.
They did fight in front of Liefeld's just feet.
They did fight in front of a feet thing. It's pretty good. Finally,
Mm-hmm.
Finally, someone called him out on it. I spun the wheel again. Landed on one of DJ's The Mask. What do we think of that movie? Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Son of the Mask, almost as good.
I think, you know...
With Jamie Kennedy?
That's right, yeah. And Alan Cumming, Nightcrawler's own.
Oh.
Traitors' own.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was he? Anyway, continue.
Oh, my God.
Probably busy doing traitor stuff. Maybe he was that Scottish Deadpool that got his head chopped off with a Highlander sword.
I would have fucking died if he just came in as like, or it was Nightcrawler like doing the traitors, and like she said a bunch of sit down. It's like, once of you is a traitor. It's like, it would have been a joke for me and like 7 other people in my theater, but we would have loved it.
Absolutely, people like that show. It's quite popular.
It's a good show. The Mask. You know, I think a movie that, like, I understand that people think it may have aged poorly with some of the jokes, but I really think at its core, it's a well-natured and good-hearted movie that I think people should give a chance in a modern context.
Oh yeah, I think looking back, you watch that movie and you're like, oh yeah, I see why. Like, what's her name was a humongous star, like Cameron Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever like, where did this happen? It's like right there. Yeah, and I mean, obviously Jim Carrey was like, I don't know if he was at the top of his game. Was The Mask 93? Was it before like Ace Ventura? Where does it fall on the Carrey timeline?
I think it's around there.
Yeah. Oh, 94. Okay. Oh, so this was Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, same year. Wow, incredible.
Damn, what a Jim Carrey year.
Right? Ryan Reynolds was watching that as like a 15-year-old or whatever, going, someday I'm going to do a little bit like this.
I'm going to be this, but it's going to be more annoying.
Yeah. But what about if Wolverine wore a mask in this movie?
You know, I think if Wolverine wore a mask in a movie, you know, it's a nice, you know, little call outs where finally we're getting that mask that we love so much. But, you know, there's another thing is that what if the mask looks like shit and then, you know, makes me sad?
Wow. I think the mask looked okay. Did you really not like the mask?
I didn't like the mask. Yeah, I didn't like the mask.
Was it because it was all CGI or was it because he had the little white eyes?
It was the white eyes for me. It just was a hard, it was a hard barrier for me to get past, unfortunately. And maybe that's a me problem, but I did not care for it.
The white eyes are tough. Yeah. No, it's always been a thing that they've struggled with. It's like, can we do that with Batman? Can we do it with Deadpool?
So, I mean, they do it with Deadpool. And I think so it worked. Fine.
Yeah. I think the Wolverine mask looked okay. I didn't have strong feelings about it.
Yeah, so here's my deep dark secret, which is maybe why this movie didn't hit for me as much. I don't really care that much about Wolverine as a character.
Oh, so you're a monster.
I mean, he's fine.
And homophobe. Like, you know, we already described how Wolverine's a proud gay man. Or at least bi or whatever, you know.
That's right.
Mutant instead of man, depending on who you ask. But, you know.
Yeah, if you ask Marvel's legal department vis-a-vis their toys,
exactly.
Not humans at all.
Not humans, but beasts. More like animals, if you ask me.
Yeah,
but
rabid animals that need to be put down.
Trust some, fear the rest, as they say on the poster for the first X-Men movie. Those movies are so good. I think it's even worse. I think it's trust a few, fear the rest. But yeah, so you don't like Wolverine and his mask?
I mean, it's the mask I think was a little off for me. I don't know what. I think it was more the wings than. I feel like there's just something about it that just fundamentally looks a lot better in 2D than 3D.
Yes, agree.
I think it could be done. I think it could be like, I imagine it was fully added after the fact. Whereas like the Deadpool mask is like a mask that an actor wears. I'd like to see. So
Ryan Reynolds doesn't have to be on set most of the time.
Right, exactly.
Right. Good for him. So he can hang out with The Rock. So he can wait for The Rock to film. But I'd like to see like an actual physical mask kind of doing the same thing. Because I've seen they have like touring versions of these costumes at like certain theaters, and it looks pretty good. But maybe it just doesn't look good in motion. Maybe that's the thing about it. I don't know. Maybe he's just too tall. Maybe the mask, maybe that's, you know what? Maybe it has the little wings and those look normal on a short person because it makes him look about as tall as everybody else. But on a tall guy, it makes him look like a skyscraper.
Could be.
I do think there is something with the white eyes on a full mask versus a half mask. I like, if I had to pinpoint for me thinking about it, like, yeah, white eyes on Deadpool, whatever. I'm not seeing face, but it's like the white eyes, but then you're seeing like Hugh Jackman's lower half of the face. It's off. It's just off.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. I agree. But I think it was perfect.
You would.
The end.
You shill.
Yeah. It's a shill. I'm glad he had the mask. I'm glad they tried it. I think, yeah, more than anything else, I see it as a victory for, you know, weird looking comic book characters in their weird looking outfits.
I wish they would do this sort of thing more often, honestly. Like, even if I didn't love the look of this one, I do wish they did the goofy costumes and the code names and stuff way more than they do.
It seems like they're moving in that direction. I feel like after like the Captain America movie, it looks like he's just dressing around like Captain America and stuff. I don't know. Fantastic Four, they're just fully doing it. Have you yeah, that trailer's so good. And then the Thunderbolts is also coming out, and not Blade.
Is it?
I don't know. Well, that one probably, yeah. I have a feeling they'll move some of them around. Last two things on the wheel. I spun it again. Just one real quick.
Tick, 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 tick.
Tick, 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 tick. Kang isn't in this. It's kind of funny. Apparently he was...
Why?
I mean, it's not funny, I guess, why it's not in this, but it's funny that apparently the whole movie was about him originally.
Really?
And Yeah, the movie. So according to what I read the other day, this was originally going to be about Kang was like doing Kang stuff. You know how he loves to do Kang stuff.
He's always Kanging around.
Exactly. And Matthew McFadden was trying to assemble a team of multiversal Avengers. So he was going to go and be like, I need a Wolverine, Deadpool. Go get me Wolverine for my Avengers. And that was what they were doing, was creating this team to stop Kang. But like now they're just not even kind of doing that anymore. Just like doing something completely different.
Like gave up on that premise immediately.
Wild. Yeah, how much that fucked up everything. It's crazy.
Do you think so? Like, there's also the fact that Kang wasn't really working because the whole phase was not working.
You would never say that, Diggins. No one would say that.
No one would say that in this movie.
No, that would be too. That'd be irreverent
and wacky.
Yeah.
Do you think if all that stuff with Jonathan Majors hadn't happened, they would still be trying to make Kang work?
I do. I think we would have more like goodwill towards Kang and just like kind of like him generally. Like, I think there'd be a little bit more like, oh, let's see how this works out. At least he's good, you know, but
I can see that.
I think they burned it all enough that like it was bad, and then immediately you were like, and good, because he's got good, so I guess they're gonna get rid of him. I don't think it would have been as much of a foregone conclusion, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're probably right that they would have like just stuck with it, but I don't know, something about the whole RDJ panic move makes me wonder if like how much they would have hit that button without Jonathan Majors also being a problem.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
That's my theory.
That's a good question.
But anyway, so now instead of being a hero, Paradox is a bad guy because Kang.
Yeah. Right, and because like it also seems like because of the Kang stuff, maybe they didn't fully rewrite Loki, but they maybe rethought some of Loki potentially. And because of that, because I think that it makes sense that like Mobius would have been doing this, right? If like this was something that we're actively trying to do, but instead this has to be like isolated from the TVA in a way that anybody who's seen Loki season 2 is like, well, this isn't right. Like this, they wouldn't do this. And it gets explained later as like, well, he's not even doing what they're supposed to do. But yeah, it all feels kind of weirdly misconjoined. It's very strange. Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
All right, last one. I spun the wheel. It's on the wheel technically. I mean, like, this doesn't need to be on the wheel usually, but this is a question we don't ask it all the time. But is it woke?
Is it woke?
Well, I did see a tweet earlier today about how it's not just not woke, but it's anti-woke.
Anti-woke.
Is it because it made money or because of something they didn't?
Well, because it made money is the implied reason, but they gave other reasons.
What were they?
Let me see if I can find it. They were bad. I know
might
that.
be able to find it before Diggins.
Was it about how it's about like masculinity and being cool and tough and killing and stuff?
I think that was it. Yeah.
Getting your genitals pierced.
Getting pegged.
Blade coming back, a guy who never did anything wrong.
Certainly not tax evasion.
Nope. Or another thing we'll never know. But yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be so worth it when we find this tweet that talks about how woke Deadpool is.
Yeah, how not woke Deadpool is.
Right. Okay, I found it.
You got it? All right,
Good.
Let's hear it.
Deadpool and Wolverine is not only not woke, it's completely anti-woke. It was so refreshing to see two heterosexual badass male heroes in a movie again, and no fucking virtue signaling anywhere in sight. Just a great movie. Disney, don't fuck this up.
Okay.
I have a problem with the word heterosexual in there.
Well, I mean, as far as the movies are concerned, they're technically both kind of heterosexual.
Deadpool talks a lot about being with men. I don't think we ever see him being with a man.
Yeah.
Which I think should at least qualify him for Disney's first openly LGBTQ character.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well, it's interesting because they actually have the first openly LGBTQ character in one of these. They have, what's her name? Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
That's true.
Who they promptly removed from the movie and swap out with Wolverine.
All the other women.
Yeah, along with all the other women and Colossus and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, lovely. You know how there's like the Twitter like readers added context, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic. Readers added context. They thought people might want to know. Not only the character Deadpool was originally conceived to be openly pansexual, but in the picture, multiple scenes describe his attraction to sex with men, e.g., with the TVA agents at the beginning of the movie. So,
that's true. He does do an extended bit about fucking that TVA agent.
Yeah, I don't know. With Deadpool, it's always like, I wish they could commit to it a little bit more, because with Deadpool, it's always like that way that you kind of go like, oh yeah, that guy's a real stud, you know. But it's not like, it's just like, it really is like before every line Deadpool could say like, no homo, obviously, but then and then like move on to whatever like silly thing he was gonna say.
That's a fair point. Like,
Deadpool getting pegged happened in one of the movies, so there's that. It's not nothing, you know.
That's true,
it's not. It's not that he's gay, but it's like it's a step in the right direction, I guess. I don't know. It's a more you know, adventurous Deadpool.
If you're the sort of person who makes that tweet, pegging is certainly not a thing you like, right?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, they had a chance too in like the second Deadpool to make him more anything. So that was like the character-y one where you could have really figured out what Deadpool's whole deal is. But
I guess my question is, why is it accepting the premise that there's nothing particularly woke about the movie, which sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that make it anti-woke?
Because it's just two heterosexual badass heroes not talking about fucking each other and just being badass and cool.
But like, why is that anti-woke? They're not like saying it would be bad if women were here or something. It just is what the movie is.
They're fighting the non-binary person, like you were saying. So there's that.
There is that. You would think that would make it automatically woke. There's a non-binary person here.
But they're bad. And they're bad in a way that is almost bad. Like, I think Cassandra Nova as a character is fun enough to watch. I liked it mostly. But they do just kind of go like, you know what? Actually, the movie's not over. I'm going to go be bad again. Like,
that whole turn was so weird. The weird thing about that turn is they do the thing where like Wolverine is sympathetic to Cassandra Nova. And then she's like, oh, well, I'll help you because you were nice to me. And it's like, oh, that ended on kind of like a nice note. And then she's like, I'm still evil though, so I'm going to do some evil stuff.
Right. Like I knew I had to deal with Paradox that I knew he had gone over on. And now I'm going to get revenge on him by destroying all of the universes. Like, if anything, this feels like something that Deadpool's could have done, you know, like stolen the ring, or so like the Deadpool Corps shows up, steals the ring, and then they want to destroy the universe because they're so wacky and badass. But yeah, having her do that is strange.
Can I read you guys the bio for, I'm not going to read this person's handle, but just the bio for the Twitter user who wrote that tweet?
Can I take a guess at one thing? Maybe
Please.
Pronouns. What are the pronouns? Fuck Biden.
You are so close
to fuck Kamala now, because
no, see, I think they would do that, but I feel like it's going to be
go Trump.
Nah.
Pronouns America first.
No, Nando, you were so close with the fuck Biden. You're
fuck Brandon.
Let's go Brandon.
No. It's the fuck part you got right.
Nice. That's what they always say. Wait, so what is it?
It's fuck you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Fuck
Cool.
you.
Is
But
that
yeah,
the whole bio?
no, melter of snowflakes, Catholic who cusses a lot, pronouns, fuck you.
Ooh, very good.
Wow, he sounds like a really cool guy.
I think it's a lady, because it's
Fuck sounds like a pretty cool guy, Diggins. They have pronouns.
You're right, I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Fuck put
Fuck
that in
sounds pretty
Fuck's
cool.
bio on purpose.
No, it's fuck put that in use bio on purpose.
Right, yeah. God damn, these pronouns are so tricky. I finally see the light.
Oh man, she's followed by John Cena. Oh, I have questions.
John Cena follows everybody.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you look at his follows versus like it's a thing. I don't know.
He's one of those follow back people.
All right, so I shouldn't be
Yeah.
concerned that John Cena follows this person. Okay.
I mean, John Cena might, like probably
Maybe
does it.
he's on board.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, John Cena did the real like bisexual superhero thing in his show. That's all they need. It's just
true.
one scene with Deadpool smoking a cigar in a bed with Wesley Snipes or something, and we just go, "Oh, that was fun." Or Gambit. Gambit's also somewhat pansexual sometimes, depending on who's writing him.
Didn't he have a thing with Rogue and him at some point, Deadpool?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Deadpool's had lots of things with lots of characters, but yeah, Rogue's one of his like, and yeah, I can't remember why, because there's always got to be a reason, but there was a thing. So yeah, Deadpool, Gambit, and Rogue, little threesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Deadpool could have sex with Rogue because Deadpool has an incredible healing factor that could, hypothetically survive minutes of contact with Rogue.
Oh,
there we go.
Someone should tell him. I don't know. Anna Paquin, what's she up to? Let's get her back. Or whatever. Whoever was going to be this in the Gambit movie. I don't think they ever cast anybody besides him. I don't even know if Rogue was going to be in it, because it's probably going to be all his little Assassin's Guild and Thieves Guild friends. But yeah. Remember the line in this movie where somebody says the woke mob?
Did someone
Remember
say
that?
Oh my God, what was
Yeah.
I do remember that happening, but I don't remember the context.
I think Deadpool says it to Cassandra Nova when they're being introduced. I don't remember what the line is, but I think, okay, actually I kind of remember it. I think Deadpool says like, you're Professor X, but a girl? Don't want to confuse that with the woke mob will jump on you on Twitter or something. There's a line like that in this movie. It felt real weird.
Yeah,
That's
a
why it's
strange
anti-woke, because he
That's
says
why
woke
it's anti-woke.
mob.
Yeah. Not good.
I don't think this movie's particularly woke. I don't think it's anti-woke. But
No,
as
it's
we've
neither.
established many times, it does not have to be anti-woke to be not woke.
You know what's anti-woke about it? Taylor Swift not in it. So
Taylor Swift isn't Dazzler, that's right.
yeah, or Lady Pool or whatever. She's just like completely not there, which is cool, I guess. Whatever.
Does that mean Cats is woke because Taylor Swift is there?
Yes.
And
That's
Valentine's Day is woke because Taylor Swift is there?
Yeah, I think Cats is woke for a couple of reasons. I don't know. Maybe Cats isn't that woke. We probably weren't doing that segment back then. Everybody put this in the Discord. Is Cats woke or not?
I mean,
Well, Cats
was the
didn't go broke,
second
so Cats can't be woke.
pod I ever did with you guys.
Right.
Or
Oh, yeah.
probably like fourth, technically.
And DJ's right. It did go broke.
No, it didn't go broke.
Cats
Right.
did.
Cats went
It
broke.
did.
Oh, I did not.
Cats
Yeah,
didn't make
what?
money.
Are you
I don't
joking?
know.
It had like a cultural footprint, but I think it was
Okay.
mostly just us.
Right.
If
Sorry,
you
I've
asked
been
us,
saying
it would
a million
seem like it was
times.
the avatar of its day, but it actually did not do super
well,
well.
Yeah, it
Then-
did terrible at the box office.
Then it's woke.
Exactly.
It is super
No,
woke.
that's
then.
that's definitely an option. You know what? Actually, you could probably say Cats is woke because they took out all the weird Chinese cat stuff. Right? There's a lot of weird racial stuff in Cats that's not in the movie.
That's true.
So this is probably a woker Cats. There's probably
woker
somebody
Cats.
who left Cats going, they fucking woked it up. I want my original Cats with all the Rum Tum Tugger stuff. Or, not Rum Tum Tugger. Is that the one he is?
Growl Tiger.
Growl
the
Tiger,
captain.
yeah. Yeah, that stuff's real dicey.
What? So if this movie had bombed and hadn't made a lot of money, what would be woke about it, you guys?
coexist bumper sticker.
Ooh, yeah,
There's that.
I
mean, a lot of
is-
just the openly gay
Non-binary
sex stuff, right?
actor in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Huge red flag.
Yeah.
NSYNC, Lance Bass.
Yeah, probably Deadpool. So, like, instead of being a manly heterosexual man who's just cool and funny and good, if the movie bombs, then he's a femboy because he talks about girly things and, like, says that he likes to get pegged, right?
Right.
Yep.
And then there's Nice Pool. Nice Pool is pretty woke.
Yeah, that's woke.
You know, but not in a American woke, in like a Canadian neutral way. Oh, you know what else is woke about this? Or anti-woke about this? And I don't think it is, but I think this would get a point. Henry Cavill. I think that anti-wokes would be like, yeah, actually, that's one of ours.
Wait,
But
is it
Henry
what?
Cavill in
No.
your movie, that means you agree with us about everything.
Yeah, I don't think Henry Cavill would say that, but I do think there are people who would be like, finally, an anti-woke Wolverine.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a Zach Levi type or Levy type, whatever.
Well, I don't. Again, we're not saying Henry Cavill encourages or like says this at all. We're saying if you're a Snyderverse person and you've decided Henry Cavill is your standard bearer for reasons that are still like deeply mysterious to me, then you assume the guys put Henry Cavill in the movie. That means it's because they agree with Snyderverse people about everything.
Right.
Yeah. That's fair.
Which that's a puzzle, by the way.
It is a puzzle.
That's a puzzle.
Just trying to puzzle this out. You know who was in this movie? Was Juggernaut. Juggernaut's usually pretty gay in the comics. That's a thing.
Is he now?
Yeah, kind of. I heard Connor on Cerebro podcast talking about it. Like, well, obviously he's gay, but like they're straight men that have tattoos of the Juggernaut, so like the X-Men can't say it, but he is. He has this little friend, Black Tom Cassidy, who he kind of lives with and like does mischief with.
That's true. That is true.
I think there's a case for it. Also, it's weird that Black Tom is an X-Men too, also, and they don't like hang out. Anyway, I'm going to say this movie's not, I don't know if it's woke or anti-woke. I think if it gave any of the characters anything to do that weren't the men, then maybe it would be a little woke, but they don't do that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with not woke.
Oh yeah, not woke.
Deadpool. Does Logan call out calling her Blind Owl? That feels like something that's like a woke thing to say.
He does. That's right. He's like, you call her Blind Owl? That's messed up.
He's like, no, she's blind though. I like that. That was a funny joke. That's it. Anything else about this? What do you think? It's an important question. What happens next? When do we see these guys again? Do they get rolled into the MCU? Like what?
Disney loves money. Well, we will see them again. They will do this shit again.
He'll do this till he's 90.
Yeah.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds will. I don't know about Hugh Jackman.
But money?
I feel like they're going to cast a new Wolverine as part of the new X-Men, right?
You'd think so, right? But then does that happen before Secret Wars? Like, do they do the Secret Wars movie with this Hugh Jackman? And then, because I feel like there was not a lot of messaging of one last ride, my last time as a Wolverine in the interviews for this, even though I feel like they did that with Logan back when he thought it was. But like,
back before they showed up with the dump truck full of money.
Yeah. So I feel like they probably will these guys will show up in Secret Wars. And then, yeah, I think you're both right. I think Deadpool goes to the MCU. Wolverine gets recast. Please, 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 not Henry Cavill. But not because I think he's a bad actor. He's just too tall. He's just too big. Also, you know what was interesting about that? Henry Cavill smoked a cigar in the movie. It's one of the first times in the last like couple of decades that someone in a Disney movie has smoked on screen.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
It doesn't happen very often. It used to be that all the cool caterpillars and shit were smoking, but now it's like, no, thank you. Nobody smokes. And even like Wolverine in the comics doesn't smoke anymore. But he's known for having a big old cigar.
Really need to listen, smoking is a horrible thing for your health. You should never do it. There's no reason to. You're just stuffing your body full of like toxic chemicals for no reason. We as a society do need to reckon with the fact that it looks so fucking cool.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, because we really have the best or the worst of both worlds now. Wolverine can't smoke in TV shows and movies, but everybody's smoking vapes in real life, and they look stupid. You know? So, like, I'm not saying everybody should switch to cigars. I don't think it would work for everybody, but like,
but maybe
the loophole we made it, like, I cannot imagine Wolverine smoking a vape in one of these movies, but like, it feels like that's the only option besides this, which they somehow managed to do. So that's pretty
That
cool.
would have made the movie woke if Wolverine used a vape.
Yeah. Ugh. One of these days. DJ, Diggins, you guys want to get to our classic segment?
I would love to.
I would love that.
All right. Do you have anything to recommend to the fine people, DJ?
I do. So I have two, because one's like kind of a downer, and I don't want to be like a super Debbie Downer.
Do it.
I mean, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do like a downer one and then like a lighter one.
Bring us all down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
If I'm not crying by the end of this podcast, then I'll be deeply disappointed in you.
Okay, sounds good. So,
not because how funny the music was, because of content, in the podcast. Our little singing bit, sometimes that makes you cry, but not for the same reason. That's
Many people have told me that the sound of my singing makes them cry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So Rob Delaney was in this movie as Peter Poole.
That's true.
Well, I guess his name is Peter Poole, technically. Yeah.
Well, so I don't know how many people know this, but Rob Delaney, I want to say, like recently, maybe within the last like 2 or 3 years, he tragically lost one of his sons to brain cancer. Like really, really sad, just like awful story.
Yeah, the movie's dedicated to him.
Okay,
and
so
the
yes,
other guy.
That's right.
Apparently.
Thank you for undercutting me, Diggins.
Yeah,
really appreciate
Diggins
that.
wins the recommendation. Good job, Diggins, for knowing the thing. Sorry, go on, DJ.
I'm curious if Diggins like knows what I'm going to rec.
You have a chance to steal the recommendation back, DJ.
Brain cancer.
Oh my God, it's fucking horrible.
I think I know what you're gonna wreck.
Okay,
It's his book.
Yeah, it's his book.
Yeah.
You know what?
All right, I got it now. I'm winning. What's the book called? I can't remember.
Okay, so the book is called The Heart That Works.
Oh yeah.
And I have read this book prior. Actually, I don't remember if I had like brought this up on the pod at all, but I at some point in the past year I kind of dealt with I lost my brother-in-law kind of suddenly and tragically, and it was not good, but so I heard about this book from a friend of mine who had also lost someone, and it's a really, really sad book, but it's like hopeful is like not the right word, but like he is a comedian, so like he injects humor in there, but just kind of the way like he talks about losing his son and like the very painful process, because it wasn't all of a sudden, it was this disease that kind of just like robbed, because his son was like 2 or 3 at the time, like just like robbed his son of like his childhood, and he has 2 other boys, so he talks about how like his sons also experienced the loss of their baby brother, but there's like something like I like reading this book that like it's healing in a way. Just I think the way that he kind of talks through it, like his own healing process, like losing his son and having to work through that, and still maintaining a family like with his wife and sons, and like how he had to like find ways to to be honest, like live through the pain. I don't know, there's just like something there that is just, I don't know, good to read, or just can help you if you ever dealt with loss. So I think it's a really, really good book. It's called A Heart That Works. It will make you fucking cry, I think. Yeah, it's just something that I thought about when I was just like watching the credits roll, and then I saw like for Henry Delaney, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So it kind of like triggered that in my brain. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll talk about the book for a recommendation, because I do think, for people who have maybe gone through some like hard like tragedies recently or at any point, it's sometimes these healing things can be good. So that is why I would like to recommend it, if that is a thing that people would like to consume. And if I just brought the whole podcast down, I am sorry.
Well, as a token of good faith, DJ, I will give you back the recommendation points that Diggins stole, that I restole from him to you for giving the recommendation. So
Nando, have you read the book?
No, I've seen him interviewed on it though. I've heard him on podcasts and stuff.
And the way he talks about it's like pretty powerful too, and like the book is super powerful. Because I had bought it on a recommendation from a friend of mine who had read it, dealing with some personal loss. Because it happens, and
that friend was Ryan Reynolds.
And who did he lose, Diggins?
I don't know.
He lost, much like we all did. Who's a famous person who died in it, but a silly Richard Simmons, that's who it was. All right.
We'll never know if he was being held prisoner by his nurse or whatever was supposed to be.
Is that a real thing?
There was a controversy where some of his friends thought he was being like held prisoner by someone.
That was like conspiracy theory shit. I don't think that was in any real way. Anyway, so I wanted to come with another recommendation because it felt bad to only give the one sad recommendation. So the other thing I'm going to recommend is a little game I started playing on the Switch called Persona 5 Tactics. It's not a new game, but I got it on Amazon Prime for like $20 during Prime Day.
Amazon, support our companies. Good.
Yeah, Amazon's one of our best companies. I'm always saying this.
What's this Persona game about, DJ? I mean, I kind of know what the Personas are, but what is Tactics?
So yeah, this is on Nintendo Switch, and it's a classic tactics style game where you're on like a grid, and you're a little chibi little Persona guys, and you're kind of walking them around on the field, trying to do combat. It's still like the classic like kind of Persona style where like you have your persona / summon, and you're trying to do cool moves and defeat the evil personas and whatnot. But it's a good tactics game, and anytime these individual Persona games get good, their universe just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Like I think this is the third like Persona based game in the Persona 5 universe. It was the main one. Well, I mean, really, there's more because there's like the main one, but then there was also like the expanded one that added the new character, and then there was the like action rumble style game. I think it was Persona 5 Royale, which was the rumble game, and now Tactics. So they're just gonna keep making these forever, whether we like it or not.
Do you still got to build up your social links with your friends so you can do kisses on them?
There is admittedly less of that in this game. There is not as much kisses because as far as this universe is concerned, we've done as much kisses as we possibly can. How many more kisses can you possibly do?
What a bummer for someone trying to jump into these, hearing about all the kisses, and then you get a number 5 Tactics, and you're like, wait a second. I was told there'd be kisses. I do know this is the game that that Arthur Fleck, the Joker, is in, right? That's pretty cool. Do you get to do Joker stuff? Do you dance down the stairs and shoot Robert De Niro or whatever?
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, if only. I don't know. Joker's the character in this, right, or something?
Yeah, they put the main guy as Joker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they all named after playing cards, or is that just like his thing specifically?
That's just his. He's Joker. The rest of them have names. I guess just because you're the protagonist. It's like whatever. Yeah.
Does he make jokes like Deadpool?
He's like mostly a silent protagonist type, which is
Joker does not seem like a good name for him.
Nah, yeah. Go get him, Joker. But yeah. That's a game you could play, and I don't know how much it is now. You wait for Prime Day or Black Friday or whatever, but I assume Nintendo's just going to try and get rid of them as they do. So I think I've spoken enough for one lifetime. Diggins, do you have anything to rec?
I do. I also have a book to recommend.
Whoa, wow. All right. Clap for everybody with book recommendations. Real quick, let me try to find a book.
Oh, Nando, you poor fool. Not only is it a book, it's a Thomas Pynchon book.
Oh, no. I don't even have anything close to that here.
Yeah, you guys can't see, but on the video, Nando just like his hair got blown back as the energy from me having read a Thomas Pynchon book obliterated him down to his skeleton.
Yeah. So who is that? Thomas Pynchon?
He
Your
is
president?
a pretty famous author. He's written a bunch of. He's a very like kind of like postmodernist novelist. So his books are often very like rambling and hard to understand, but in very purposeful ways. Like he wrote Gravity's Rainbow.
Yeah,
which
and
is
Inherent
one of the-
Vice
Yeah,
from that movie.
Gravity's
Yeah.
Rainbow is one of those classic books that a college boy who's trying to impress you will pretend that he's reading.
Yeah. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the boy, for this person who wrote it.
Yeah. I've read Inherent Vice before and I enjoyed it. So I read his newest book, or I don't know if it's still his newest book. He wrote it like 11 years ago. I don't know if he's come out with something since then. But I read his book Bleeding Edge, which is a novel set in New York City in the early 2000s, specifically the summer before 9/11. It's not like about that, but that is the setting.
Like Madam Web.
Like Madam Web, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's about this like fraud investigator who her friend puts her onto this company that's got all this like Byzantine sort of like fraud stuff that to be disentangled. It sort of like unfolds as like a noir mystery kind of thing, but neo-noir because it's all like I say, he has a very stream of consciousness writing style, so it all kind of like comes out all jumbled together. And it's specifically like the business world that it's about is the tech industry right after the .com crash, when the bubble burst. So it's like all the people who lived through that or who are trying to like buy up cheap assets now that there was this huge crash, and so like prices fell a lot. So you know it's pretty relevant today because it's a lot of it's about how all these tech people are like bizarre weirdos who are also very evil. Now, like I said, very stream of consciousness, very kind of deliberately not obtuse per se, but very postmodern. A little, it requires a close reading to fully get the plot at the end, but I really enjoyed it. I think the way he writes about like New York City and the sort of like twisting turn of like the narrative, I think is very evocative, which is really more what he's going for. So I enjoyed it for that reason. And if you like his works, then I think it is one worth reading. What about you, Nando? Anything to recommend? What book do you have for us?
I just have a TV show about a book that's even older than both of your books, which makes it more important.
Oh
shit.
Yeah. Netflix this week put out a show that I didn't even know existed until like a week ago. So I wasn't like excited for it until I found out about it, but I wasn't like, I probably would have been more excited for it if I knew this was coming. Have any of you guys ever read the Decameron?
no.
So.
Gotcha. My culture thing is so much more esoteric. Decameron's classic tale by Boccaccio, very much like Canterbury Tales, about a bunch of people in Italy sequestering for the plague, just telling stories. One of those little kind of, bunch of little stories about love and poems about playing tricks on people and stuff. It's fun. They made a new show of it on Netflix, and it's kind of like that, The Great Show, where they have a bunch of people not doing accents and speaking very plainly, and it's pretty funny. I don't know if it's going to work long term. I'm only 2 episodes in, and I could see it kind of falling apart. But there's at least a couple moments in that first episode that I was like, that's really funny. So I think it's a really, really good time.
Is Boccaccio involved?
And not that I know of. I mean, maybe there'll be a little cameo in the end. Maybe it'll be like Deadpool, get a skeleton. I don't know. It's probably skeleton's probably some church or something like that in Italy. They love holding on to skeletons of guys. But yeah, it's a pretty good. The main characters, speaking of Madam Web, Zosha Mamet, the woman in front of the screen, who's like, they're just kids. She plays one of the characters in the Decameron. I'm not super familiar with a lot of the other actors, although they're from stuff. The guy from Willow's in there. Not like main Willow, but the guy from the Willow show, who I thought was cool. Tony Hale is in there, and he's pretty funny. He has my favorite line of the first episode. Who else is here? So I should know. Oh, one of the girls from Dairy Girls, Monica Jackson. I've never watched it.
Ooh, which one is that?
Blonde, kind of like, I don't even know how to describe her. British.
Erin.
Okay, yeah, she seems cool. Like, I liked her in this a lot. But it's very silly. You know what it feels like if you've never, like, because I don't think reading Decameron is like this. It feels like a Shakespeare play. It feels a lot like Much Ado About Nothing, or like not Much Ado About Nothing. What's the other one?
Taming of the Shrew.
Yes, it feels a lot like Taming of the Shrew, where it's a bunch of silly coincidences and bullshit like that, and like that one has a scene from that one.
Women, am I right?
I mean, there's a lot of women in this. They're pretty good, and men. Am I right? If you want a show that's got a lot of, you know, if you watch your Deadpool and we're like, he's not nearly horny enough, this has got a lot of that. But it's fun. I think it's a good time. At least the first 2 episodes, definitely the first one. But yeah, it's, you know what? And it's interesting because it's about people, you know, escaping the plague. And every so often someone will be like, everybody around us is dying. And they're like, but we should have vacation, fun. We deserve fun, right? So like, it's interesting, you know, in our current day and age. But yeah, if you want like
Doesn't
a really
seem relevant.
Yeah, if you want a fancy religious thing, or not religious, but like really accurate historical thing, it's probably not going to be your thing. But it's a lot more like, you know, Death of Stalin, that kind of new kind of fake goofy history. But yeah, I liked it. I think it's cool. So that's my rec. It's on Netflix. And yeah, next week, what are we doing next week? Ooh.
Trap by M. Night Shyamalan.
Is that out next week?
That's out next week.
So that means it's out tomorrow?
Yep.
Get out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You're right. August 2nd. Wow, they really snuck that in. This is a trap for me. They're trapping us in the theater. We don't even know the movie started. Oh boy. Then yeah, I guess we will do Trap. I'm excited for Trap. You know, it's weird that the movie's called Trap and it's at a concert, but it's not a trap music concert. It's like a pop music.
Get him. Get the murderer.
Do people still go to trap music concerts?
I mean, it could be a period piece, you know. This could be set in 2015 or whenever trap music was happening. I just feel like if I was a big trap fan, I saw a poster for a trap movie that took place at a concert and I got there and it was like, you know, Britney Spears or whatever, I'd be pretty bummed. But then I'd watch the movie and I'd be even more bummed. Just kidding. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I've been thinking about Old a lot, so I have negative feelings about just your average M. Night movie. But that'll be fun.
I thought you loved Old.
I do. I love it. And that's the problem is this won't be as good as Old. So it's going to be, you know, like sad. DJ, do you have anything to plug for the fine people?
Check out Roses and Rejections. We're still plugging away. Also, we talked about The Mole this week because I finally finished it, and it was a doozy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So check that out on the Pop Break Network.
Diggins?
Not really. What about you, Nando?
I've got videos and stuff, you know, the usual on my Nando V Movies and Nando Cut channels. One was talking about Deadpool. I had a more like a longer video talking about what the hell's going on with this Robert Downey Jr. thing. Some of kind of what I think they're doing. But, you know, who knows what'll be up there in a week. You know, for Marvel Snap stuff, I'll have my Kate Bishop video will be out and my Marvel Boy video will be out soon because they're the new season. There's fun. Young Avengers are fun books. So very, very popular characters. But besides that, nothing. I think I might be on a Pop Break podcast this week talking about this movie. So
fun.
We'll see about that. But if I do, I'll plug it next week when I know when it's coming out. But until next week, I've been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.